Yes, you did. Made it weird.
What's happening, weirdos? Another wonderful Weirdo Wednesday here with Samm Levine from Freaks and Geeks, Freaky Geeky, as I like to call it. Also just a delightful human being and a wonderful podcast guest filled with wonderful stories, jokes, attitudes, anecdotes, altitudes. He's great. Let's get to it as quickly as possible. Not too much to plug up top here. I do have a monthly Largo show if you're in the Los Angeles area and want to see me do stand-up. The last one, the day this came out, so the show would have been yesterday, had Bill Burr, Spill Burr. Come on, Bill Burr, incredible. Always great. Go to largo-la.com and look for Pete Holmes living at Largo. Hope to see you at those shows. It's always awesome to have weirdos out there. And I have a couple other live dates coming up. I'm going to be in Montreal for the Just for Laughs Fest. We're going to be doing a live podcast there. And I'm also going to be at the Just for Laughs Fest in Cancun, Mexico, November 2 through 6th of this year. Go to Pollen, POLLEN.co for more on that. That's going to be fun. We'll also be doing live podcasts at that as well. And if you like the show, why not show some support and try one of the Pete's picks like MeUndies. What MeUndies am I wearing? Blue plaid. Blue plaid MeUndies. Let me ask you something. Are you still trying to make plans with you this summer as if you aren't booked and busy already? You're going to have to tell them to try again in the fall. You've got pool days, pride parades, bachelor parties, and beach vacations waiting for you. It's a lot. But thankfully, MeUndies wants to make this summer the most comfortable one you'll never forget, because when you're living your best life, the last thing you want to worry about is butt sweat. A butt sweat. Hashtag butt sweat. I heard about MeUndies on another podcast years ago, and Valerie and I both did a complete underwear and loungewear overhaul. My PJ pants, my undies. I love the colorful prints. I don't go for the plain ones. I go for the colorful, fun ones because I'm a colorful, fun guy, and I haven't looked back. I absolutely love them. So when you're comfy and feeling good, you know you're more present to enjoy all of your summer plans. It's like science or something. MeUndies has the lightest and most breathable fabrics to keep you cool and comfortable wherever you go. I can attest to that. It's a very breathable undie. From undies, bralettes, and socks to loungewear and swimwear, you can find something for all your plans. MeUndies also releases new prints all the time, like their limited edition Pride collection. You can match with your partner, your friends, or even your dog. Find your ultimate summer comfort in sizes extra small to 4XL. And MeUndies has a great offer for weirdos. For any first-time purchasers, you get 15% off for a limited time. If you sign up for their free-to-join MeUndies membership, you get 25% off your first membership item. So, to get 15% off your first order, 25% off your first membership item, and 100% satisfaction guarantee, go to MeUndies.com/weird. That's MeUndies.com/weird and show your support of this show. Second up, it's been a Pete's pick for the longest time. It is Alpha Brain. Alpha Brain is a nootropic, which is basically a vitamin for your brain. It's like fish food for your noggin. It helps with memory. It helps with focus. In my personal experience, it helps very much with creativity. Whenever I'm doing a podcast like this one, or I'm guesting on someone else's podcast, if I'm writing a script, if I'm doing stand-up, or if I'm just going out to a party and I want to have full access to my brain, I just take 2 or 3 Alpha Brain 15 minutes beforehand. It is not a stimulant. It is probably the thing I turn on people to the most just in my regular life because they see me taking it. I was shooting something today. I popped a couple in that were in my pocket. People always go, "What is that?" They want to know. And I tell them, it's not a stimulant. It's not like caffeine. It doesn't get you all jacked up. It just gives your brain the earth-grown nutrition that it needs to function. And what wouldn't be better in your life if your brain worked a little bit better? I don't understand why all people aren't just taking this. It's made my life so much better. And if you want to try it to see if you like it 1/10 as much as I do, you're going to shit your pants. Go to onnit.com/weird. You'll get 10% off everything you see on that page, including Alpha Brain. I like it in the instant powder, which is flavored. I also like it in the pills. Sometimes I just pour the powder directly into my mouth because it gets into my blood faster. That's how much I love it. So go to onnit.com/weird, show your support of the show, and see if it'll change your life like it did to me. Last but not least, Everlane. Boom! I didn't even plan this. I'm wearing my Everlane everyday, just classic gray sweatshirt. I love Everlane. They make some of the best looking, best fitting, highest quality clothing I've ever owned in my life. And I love, love, love how transparent they are with their factory practices. They're very ethical. They're very moral, beautiful company. And also, they're very careful when it comes to plastic, because you may be careful about the plastic you use in everyday life. I know a lot of us are, but it's easy to overlook the plastic from synthetic materials in our closets. Everlane has made it 90% of the way to having no new plastics in their entire apparel, footwear, and packaging supply chain. And to combat that last 10% that currently doesn't have quality alternatives, they've created the Next Collective. That's a fellowship program to boost innovation for ending new plastics in the fashion industry. So that means 100% of their shipping packaging is made from either 100% recycled plastic or FSC certified paper. 97% of their apparel materials containing polyester and nylon are made from certified recycled fibers, and more than 1 million pounds of nylon and 9 million plastic bottles have been recycled. Their new fellowship program brings diverse perspectives together to clean up the fashion industry. This year, they've given $1 million in grants to entrepreneurs working to reduce new plastics. So what I'm talking about, they make incredible clothing, but it's looking good and feeling good about looking good. I love supporting them. Applicants were considered based on their long-term potential, community impact, and collaboration, and each fellow kept ownership of their ideas and received $20,000 to advance their projects. I love their stuff. It's great to have them. If you want to support the show and want to look good while you're doing it, give Everlane a try. Be a part of the movement for more sustainable clothing. Go to everlane.com/weird and sign up for 10% off your first order. That's 10% off your first order when you go to everlane.com/weird and sign up. All right, everybody. Hope to see you in Montreal. Hope to see you in Cancun, or maybe I'll see you here in Los Angeles. In the meantime, try its Pete's Pick and enjoy Sammy the Machine Levine. Get into it. So many Jews. Somebody thought I was Jewish 2 nights ago. Don't say it like that. I could be flavored. I could be flavored. What is the Jewish holiday where they stop you on the street and they go, "Are you Jewish?" I won't do the voice. You know the voice.
Literally.
What's the holiday? A pogrom.
Pogrom?
Kristallnacht is when they fucking stop you on the street
No,
and say, "Are you
you're
Jewish?"
a bad Jew. I'm going to out-Jew you this whole time.
I hope you were
Is
already
it
rolling on
Purim?
that.
Is it Sukkot?
I know how you start the show, so I hope we're rolling on that.
Yes, we're rolling on
and
this.
you are called out on
For saying-
what's the holiday where they stop you on the street?
There is a
and ask-
holiday.
Yeah, it's called Nazi Germany. Show us your papers. Are you Jewish?
That's 30 seconds to a Holocaust.
You started
30
this.
seconds to Holocaust. That's Jared Leto's new band. 30 seconds to, well, that's to Mars. 30 seconds to Holocaust. I just want you to know you're free to put your feet on the sofa. You don't have to.
I'm taking my shoes off.
You can also do that.
Oh,
It's
I'm gonna
very
do that.
Mr. Rogers.
I'm gonna do that.
Can I sing it?
Please.
Won't you be mine? Wait. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood, a beautiful day for a neighbor. Could you be mine? Won't you be mine? Won't you be my neighbor?
I think that was close enough.
There's another, but then it goes, it's a neighborly day for a beauty would. It's something like that. A neighborly day for a beauty. Would you be mine? Could you be mine? Won't you be
my neighbor?
He says it like it's your secret. He goes, my neighbor. You know what that means.
Hi, neighbor.
Hi, neighor.
I don't want. I only pulled my phone out of my pocket.
I
Just 'cause
enjoyed
wanted to
that.
bother me.
I
don't
laughed
care
like
for
a bully, like, but I didn't mean it like that. I meant like I've done that many a time.
Mm-hmm.
Sammy the Machine.
Look, is that precarious? Is that going to bother you?
Remember Blues Traveler?
Of course.
I used to have a joke. It's not great, but I'd go, "Did that guy butter his harmonicas?" Is that okay? Can you
John
say
Bobber's
that
fine. He
anymore?
lost all the weight. He's fine.
He did lose all the weight, and he
So
still
he's
butters
healthy.
them because he did keto. Like butter's not even off the table for many thin. Wow, this is a
Wow,
bad.
you've really.
What do you say?
You've
You
waded
can't
into the
say.
deep end.
I know, but I'm a soft baby. I feel like I'm allowed. If you're a
I
soft
think we
baby,
should all be allowed, as long as we're not being mean about it.
It's intent, Sammy.
It's
intent.
all about intent.
All about the Benjintentmans. I'll try and think of a movie trivia question to make you feel at home.
Oh, okay.
What 1990?
Yep.
where Christian Bale holds a chainsaw.
That's from the year 2000, and it's American Psycho.
2000?
Yeah, directed by Mary Harron. There you go. Clink. Sure. I was like, we're not really going to do it, but then I remembered, we were rolling now,
We're
so
rolling
he needs
and
people
we're
to see
on.
that we've
You
touched
knew
tips.
the year.
Sure.
The tease.
Yeah.
They call it docking.
They do call that docking.
If you have a foreskin.
If you do, I love that you know about that. You're a heterosexual cis male.
Yes.
Straight cis. Well, yes. So
Yeah, you can say straight or hetero. Same.
okay. Yep.
Same.
Yeah.
Hetero, though, as a word, sounds like into your own.
Does it?
Homo sounds like you're into others. I'm homo. Oh my god, like you're
Wow.
into hetero.
I think
something about hetero sounds pointed inwards to me.
Okay. I mean, it's
Towards your own.
Well,
your
it's the
own
Latin of it, so it's.
Oh, look at you.
Well, no, it's hetero.
2000.
Hetero other homo is same.
Homogeneous.
Sure.
Heterogeneous.
Heterogeneous.
Homogeneous. Heterogeneous.
Hedonism.
Heterogenism.
No.
Sammy the Machine. Look, we're having our little. We're firing out. We're cleaning out the grease pit on our burners.
Oh man,
Out comes He Buttered His Harmonicas. Out comes 30 Seconds to Holocaust.
Yep, only for you, by the way. And this really is a sign of tremendous respect. Would I ever be up and doing something this early on a Saturday
Katie
when
and
I'm not
I-
on the clock?
On the clock. You are on the clock.
Am I?
You are being paid
Oh.
one magic
boy.
mind. You caught that so good.
Thanks, left-handed no
You
less.
caught it lefty. You don't have to. I just got it
No.
because you were drinking a caffeinated drink.
It was yucky.
Let's not even talk about.
I won't even talk about it.
Which Rojo male cow you were drinking. And then I said, "Do you want a magic mind?" And you said no, and I was like, "You're already drinking petroleum."
It was mostly jelly.
Do you think the guy who owns Red Bull looks at Elon Musk and is like, "Fuck"? Like, don't you think those are like similar brands? Like, we're going to the moon. We're gonna jump from the moon.
I don't think you understand the mission statement of Red Bull.
Really?
I don't think they have illusions of going to the moon.
No, Red Bull's always like, somebody's gonna like bungee jump into a volcano. Red Bull.
I mean, they
that seems like
sponsor these things, but I don't know that they're coming up with the ideas.
Elon Musk is sponsoring.
No, he's like,
you
I want to
think?
be a billionaire because I want to go to Mars.
You think he's sitting around being like,
I do. I think Elon Musk is sitting around. I think right now
said
he's
to
sitting.
Kitty, I was like, he's a podcaster. I'm not even going to finish questions.
He's
You
sitting-
think he's sitting around? Then I just turned off.
Yep.
Yes, I do.
You do- I
you
do.
think like I thought about Bill Burr's bit about how Steve Jobs wasn't that great, which is the funniest take ever.
It is a very funny bit.
Obviously, I feel like in his heart he probably doesn't mean it, but he's like, the point he makes is they're still making him. He's been dead. He's been dead for years. They're still doing it.
Yeah.
And like, there is a criticism to be made of Stephen Jobs is that he is the guy that's just kind of asking the nerds. I don't mean to point to you, asking the nerds, but asking the nerds to design things, and then he looks at it and he's like, it's a bit bulky, and then
Yeah.
they're like, ah.
Do you want to hear my only Steve Jobs story, and it has nothing to do with actual Steve Jobs? Now this is a story all about how I got... No.
Post slap, we don't do that anymore. Post slap, we don't do that. You can do, I'm the Master Reppa, and I'm here to say I love Fruity Pebbles in a major way. Very similar. But you remember Fruity Pebbles?
Of course I remember.
With the bedrock,
Fruity
yellow, orange,
Pebbles.
purple, lime, and
Yes.
red. But to get the
Yes.
fruity taste, I got to trick Fred.
Fred. Yeah,
You knew it.
I did. That
Fred.
I used to.
Fred makes sense.
I used to eat Fruity Pebbles every day. But wait a minute.
Can I tell you my bit?
Please.
If you liked Fruity Pebbles more than Cocoa Pebbles, did you?
I did.
You weren't hungry, you were thirsty. I've never had someone laugh at it. And
even mean?
It means the truth has arrived on earth like manna. It's here.
Okay.
Like, that's the truest thing I've ever thought. Like, hungry boys wanted the cocoa. There's something sustaining about the Cocoa Pebbles. Thirsty boys,
I don't know what you're talking about. I just wanted a giant bowl of fruit.
you wanted the colors.
I wanted the flavors of lime and orange.
The purple, orange, and lime and red.
And the other one, I
Yeah.
wanted a bowl of fruit that
Remember
tasted
when-
like crunch. Yeah.
When Lucky Charms, we're going to get to your Steve Jobs story.
That's,
Don't
it
worry.
doesn't matter.
You think we're not going to get to it?
I know we will,
Put
but I'm
some
just
cash
saying
right
don't build
here.
it up because it's not,
I'm not
that
going
good
to.
a story.
I'm here to make you comfy.
Yeah,
We're this
very
close.
comfy.
We're this close to cucumber slices on your eyes. That's how comfy you're about
That's
to be.
fantastic.
Remember when Lucky Charms would be like red balloons that like launch
They'd
a
launch
new
a
one?
new marshmallow.
They'd
Yeah, it was an ad campaign. If you watch
Yes.
Saturday morning television,
You knew that was
was-
our news.
it was. I was
That
just
was
to say it was
our-
like breaking news.
It was our new pope.
like how
It's
they
white
do
smoke!
like how they do bullshit commercials now that masquerade as like a news program. Like a person will go, and welcome back to the show. We're here with Dr. So-and-so, and it's some
Yes,
quack
and
or
it's-
whaver.
it's 50
and they're like, I'm
things
here to
they
talk about
don't want
this
you to
hair
know.
regrowth thing,
Yes.
right? That was like that, but for Lucky Charms. Like it might as well have had
It
Walter
was a
Cronkite
news.
breaking news from the Lucky Charms desk.
Yes, this coming in from Lucky himself. Red balloons.
Red balloons.
By the way, red balloons? What, did they have an abundance of red dye in circle shapes? Because that's a
Yes.
that has nothing to do with luck or charm.
None whatsoever.
Red balloons.
They ran out of things that they added rainbows. They added horseshoes.
Horseshoes is good.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to criticize.
No.
You and I agree that horseshoes is okay.
Well,
it's one of the original.
Horseshoes is okay
Purple
because
horseshoes.
luck has
Yes.
to do with.
But if they were
associated.
facing down in your spoon, unlucky charms.
Unlucky Charms. It's true. You know.
No one's after your unlucky charms.
Can I just?
That's a great kind of like witchy T-shirt. They're always after me, unlucky charms. Like if you're kind of like a wicked witch.
I know you were originally an East Coast boy, but in
Is that what we do?
Sure, but in the tri-state area, the New York, New Jersey, Connecticut area in the 90s,
That's hilarious. I always thought the tri-state was Massachusetts, New York.
it's whatever you
Connecticut.
call it. It's
Yeah,
whatever.
okay. It's whatever three states.
It's different per region, as I've come to learn. Anyway, there was a woman, Miss Cleo.
Oh yeah, call
You
me
remember
now.
Miss Cleo? Call me now.
Call me now.
And I would always try to do a Miss Cleo impression, but then it would always morph into "Call me now for your free reading, and don't forget to try me colorful Lucky Charms." It was always in the same breath.
Call me now. It's hard. It's hard to know if that's
It's
okay.
hard to know.
It's hard to know if
it
I
makes
have to
you-
call Miss Cleo to be like, can I do an impression of you? That's why I would call her. Is it okay
Is it
in
okay?
2022
Yeah.
for me to do this?
I think it is because I don't think that was her natural accent either.
I am going to throw you a check for $300,000 because I couldn't agree more. That woman was like, what's my name?
Yeah.
Miss Cleo?
Miss Cleo, sure.
How about call me now? She's like, that's ridiculous.
People love mysticism. I come from somewhere in the Caribbean, undetermined.
A crab whispered your future to me, like on the beach. Just came up and was like, buy Amazon.
Yep.
If a crab whispered that to both of us, here's a question for you.
And an
if you
answer.
had $300 million,
300 million. Okay.
I'm going to give you $300 million when you're 22.
Oh, what a terrible idea.
I know. Okay, let's say 32.
Okay.
Would you be here? I don't mean alive. I mean, would you be doing this podcast? Because I have a theory that
Yeah.
that amount of money could be very much a curse. I know that's not like a hot take.
No, it absolutely could. And I mean, to that degree, or if we're talking, have you ever watched any of those like the Lottery Ruined My Life kind of shows?
Yes, I have.
So then, yes.
Some
I
guy
know-
with like a $7,000 haircut. And he's like, it's great to not worry about groceries. Why this voice? But honestly, I haven't seen my friend Janosch. Janosch?
So I guess I have to ask, in this version of the story, do I have $300 million and I didn't get it by winning the lottery?
Gross. I just wanted to say gross. Not net. I don't even know
Fair
the
enough.
difference. I kind of do. You didn't win the lottery.
Okay. Because then
That's
it's
a
a matter
great
of public
question.
record. Because then every day of your life, people are asking you for money.
Very good.
Yeah, that's
now
one of the
we're
things
doing
that
a
people
thought
don't
experiment.
talk about.
That's one of the Lottery Ruined My
It
Life.
is, because in most states, it's a matter of public record when you win a jackpot, and they publish whatever your last known address was when you claimed.
Can I tell you a movie
people
pitch
will
I
write
had?
to you every day. Yes,
They write to you.
they write to you and they show up at your home every day.
You just have a department.
You pretty much have to.
You could have like a department.
So
and
if
be
you
like,
win hundreds of millions of dollars in the lottery, like a multi-state lottery, before you claim the ticket, you have to set up a trust
to make
and
it
then-
secret.
To make it, well, you can't make it secret, but you basically set up a trust with a different address, and so
hide
that's
your
the
address.
address that goes on file.
Right.
But
so
then
people are
will
showing up to
still-
like a
corporate
Chick-fil-A.
office. Yes, the Chick-fil-A.
Yeah. And you could by rights ask Chick-fil-A for they're religious.
They're
and they have a
deeply-
lot of money.
And they do, and I'm sure they would be a tax shelter for someone.
Yeah. It's like the chicken soup for the soul. There was one where somebody asked like American Airlines for like a free trip to see their dying mother, but it was like a very expensive flight to like Bali or something.
Yeah.
And the CEO, this story changed my life.
Oh.
It really did. I was
Okay.
like 16 reading Chicken Soup for the Soul on my porch. And the chapter is called Thanks for Asking. And the CEO of American Airlines said, yes, thanks for asking. Because once you're at that level, sometimes it's hard to get to that person. And that person, just like anybody, has a need to give for mitzvahs, if you will.
Okay. What? Hang on. Are you Jewish? Is it that holiday
Is
yet?
it Sukkot? It's not Sukkot. I'm telling you, there's a holiday
There very well may
where
be.
they go around and say, are you Jewish? And I asked one of my other Jewish friends, and they were like, I thought you were giving me the 90-minute light. I was like, that is the fastest episode of all time. Let's not go back to that. So here's my movie pitch to you to bring us back to that idea.
Sure.
You win the lottery.
Yes.
You have the ticket.
Yes.
It's the opening scene.
Oh, boy.
You're eating Jiffy Pop in the. You're eating Lucky Charms.
Yep.
You're sitting in your townhouse. Let's reference to something you said earlier off camera, and you realize you won the lottery, and
Okay.
it's the biggest jackpot of all time.
Fantastic.
It's 700 million. Okay. You realize what you've seen the lottery ruin my life documentaries. So you decide to give the ticket to your friend, Tim, to get it on your behalf.
Sure.
Then of course Tim, he's going to double cross you somehow
Oh, boy.
because trouble.
Because
Low money,
700
no
million.
problems.
Who wouldn't?
700 million. What wouldn't you do for 700 mil? But go on. I'm curious what you think about the 300 million Samm Levine, because that's a great first question.
It is a great first question. It's
I
not
love
a
your first
question
question.
that people have a pat answer
Oh,
for.
I just mean your follow-up question. Like, it's not public record. You invested in Uber, Amazon,
Oh, brilliant.
and you now have 300 million that no one knows.
Right.
But would you keep doing Doug Loves Movies, this podcast? Would you still be going out?
I would like to think that I would, only because I've always been a man of leisure.
Is this a Dos Equis commercial? I have always been a man of leisure. What do you
Gentleman
mean
of
by
leisure.
that? You mean you
what
don't
it
want to
means-
take off PJs?
What it means is some people they go stir crazy with nothing to do. Some people retire and then they don't know what to do with themselves. And then they come out of retirement.
Yeah, of course.
And I'm not talking about, a Tom Brady thing. I'm talking about
Yeah.
like a
Regular
79-year-old, an 85-year-old who's been working their entire life. Oh, I'm going to retire. And then they get like a year and they go, I'm going nuts here.
Yeah.
I got to find something to do every day. Not me.
You
that is not
are
me.
the movie Office Space. You're Peter Man.
To a degree,
You would like to do nothing.
I don't want to say nothing.
I understand
But
that. You're capable
I am capable
of unplugging.
of doing very little
Yes.
in a day
Yes.
and being very okay with that.
Tell me your strategy. I mean it.
In real life or in the fantasy?
Why? I'll tell you a little bit about the way my brain works.
Yeah.
Is I'm a little. It's a running joke on this podcast. If I have ADD, I don't think I do, but it doesn't matter. I'll just tell you about how my brain works. Okay. If I'm doing something like this podcast, I'm doing it.
Yes.
And that's one of the reasons I, like you, can enjoy a day of nothing.
Sure.
Because I am now doing nothing. Like I don't have that restless leg syndrome in my brain that's like, but I could go to the top of that mountain. I'm just like, Val is more activity based. She'll be like, we should go to the top of that mountain. When I get to the top of that mountain, and I love it. I'll love that. What do you think is why are you able to, you could sit on the beach?
I'm not really a beach guy.
Okay, yeah.
I stay out of the sun.
We're both
as
very
my
pale.
Vampire complexion.
I understand.
is.
Yeah. No, I'm afraid for my neck safety. Not my body, just my neck. So what is a nothing day for you?
A nothing day. I love baseball.
B-ball?
Well, if you say b-ball, I think most people think basketball.
No. Remember? Yeah. Okay.
But, okay.
No, I think b-ball is baseball.
B-ball is baseball?
Baseball.
well,
And
that's-
bouillabaisse too.
Oh,
I'm
bouillabaisse.
making a b-ball pasta.
Wow.
People know that
Very
means
impressed.
bouillabaisse.
I had no idea you were so handy in the kitchen. I love baseball, so a day for me where I'm doing very little to nothing,
Yeah.
I will watch 3 baseball games in a day, be very happy.
Yeah. Is it an excuse to eat and sip beer, or are you just watching baseball?
I can very happily just watch baseball. I mean, I enjoy booze, but I've never had that thing where, oh, God, I wish I were drinking right now. Drinking would make this so much better.
You've met my cousin. I'm just kidding. Yeah, I'm sure.
Like, if a drink is there, I'll have a drink, but
But you're not just like, baseball isn't the gateway drug to your eating of nachos?
No, baseball is not my gateway drug.
You just like baseball?
I just love baseball, and so I could watch
What do you do during the commercials?
Pee?
Urinate?
Sorry. Urinate, doctor. I will relieve my bladder pressure in the bathroom properly.
I used to think that was very funny when I was a kid. That, like in My So-Called Life, the first episode, she's like, it's gross that people chew in public.
Yeah.
And I remember that being very authentic. Like when you're a teenager, you have all these ideas and you think you're the first one to have them.
Sure.
Mine was, I think it's so weird that people are like, I have to go to the bathroom. Because it's very personal to be like, what you're really saying is I feel pressure building in my vajayjay. Do people still say vajayjay?
Oprah does.
Call me now. I don't. Can we say call me now? Can we say vajayjay? Oprah says vajayjay.
Oprah said it once. Remember The Soup with Joel
Famously?
McHale? So there was a clip that they would run all the time where she was up in like a harness hanging from something, and literally she said, and I hope I'm remembering the quote right, "My vajayjay is painin'."
Is painin'.
Painin'.
Well, you just declared my Netflix password, and I wish you hadn't. I do it into the remote. My vajayjay is pain in apostrophe. It's got to be apostrophe.
There's no.
Oh, it's letters and
there's
symbols.
no G there.
Let me ask you this: you got a number or a letter password for your phone? It's unlocked.
It's no, it's not unlocked. It's numbers.
Okay.
It took me a second because there was a period where it was alphanumeric, and then we all had to wear masks, and so then I was entering my password a lot more.
Muchos golly, yeah. What's the password?
It honestly would take me a second. It's one of those things where when your hand is doing it,
yeah, it's muscle memory.
rote. It's automatic.
I think muscle memory is one of the weirdest things in the world.
It is crazy. The minute you asked me and I was like, I'd have to write it down somewhere, it would take me 30 full seconds to go, nope, that is it.
I'm with you.
We all have different series of numbers that we have to remember for our various things.
My alarm system, when it's going off, I often just blank. And then I'm explaining to the police. That's not true. They've never come, but I have been like, what is it? I'm entering my ATM. I'm entering my phone. I'm entering I'm dialing 911 on the pad. I don't know what to do.
They always call. Your cell phone rings. Hi, it's Westgate or whoever the company is.
And then my security code is a very embarrassing thing.
Okay.
And I have to say it to these people.
I think Eugene Merman
people
had.
I just thought about this bit.
It's such a great bit.
Do you want to do it?
I'll
be Mr. Merman. I'm going to ask you your security question. Is that okay?
Yes, of course.
Okay. Oh wait, you asked the question.
I do ask the question. You have
no, I asked the question.
You asked the question. I have to give you the answer.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. What are you wearing?
What an inappropriate question.
Yeah. His security question is: they ask, "What are you wearing?" And he says, "What an inappropriate question." And that's when they turn the alarm off.
Because it was something he had to enter where it was like they didn't have pre-selected questions.
You made your own.
They allow you to suggest your own question.
Truly special.
What are you wearing?
Truly, I don't think that's appropriate.
How dare you? What an inappropriate question.
It's great. It's truly wonderful.
Such a good bit.
Sammy.
Yeah, buddy.
What were we just talking about?
I don't even remember, but
All right, would you say keep it
Steve
crispy?
Jobs story?
No, this is over.
Oh, it's over?
I'm just kidding. Okay. Yeah, I do want to hear Steve Jobs.
I've never met Steve Jobs, sadly, and so.
Well, then we can add you never will meet Steve Jobs.
That is probably correct.
Ooh, backing up that
never.
consciousness. Elon Musk with his yellow moons and pink stars.
They made 2 movies about Steve Jobs, biopics, if you will.
I'm aware.
The first one that came out
Ashton Kutcher
was Ashton Kutcher, and it was simply called
Jobs.
The second one was the big one with Fassbender and Seth Rogen and
which is
Kate
called
Winslet.
Steve Jobs, You're Welcome. We cast Michael Fassbender as you.
Big time.
Like that whole movie, I'm just like, God damn it, he's
Yeah.
so handsome.
Yeah, that whole time I'm like, was Anthony Edwards unavailable? What are we doing here?
By the way, the staircase, how is that not the mean doctor from Scrubs?
John C. McGinley?
John C. McGinley was born to play Michael Peterson, and they're like, nah, give it to the guy from Love Actually. Who's great, but doesn't look like him. Doesn't have the same sort of reptilian coldness.
That's true, but I think Jobs was more publicly well known what his face looked like. I think the staircase, most people have no idea.
But then when you image, if you
do it.
if you Goog him, you watch it and you're like, that's not Colin Firth.
Yeah.
For what it's worth, that is not it.
Yeah.
Nothing for what it's worth. Oh, there he is. What a joyful laugh you
I
have.
enjoyed it I kind of half heard it the first time, and then the second time it was you going, come on, you got to give me something.
My whole career is, hey.
I'm the same way. There is Ricky Jay, the late, great Ricky Jay.
Yeah, I love Ricky Jay.
In his
Came up
act,
2 episodes ago.
Oh, brilliant. Well, here he comes up again.
No,
we'll cut it all out. Great. There was his closing bit where he would throw playing cards into a watermelon.
Second time that was referenced in a week.
But it was his closer for his whole act for the last 30 years of
and
life.
Gallagher was like, if you like that.
And he would throw it into the watermelon, into the fleshy part, the inside part. He would cut the watermelon in half, so it was the easy one.
Yeah.
And then he would throw a playing card directly into the same place.
Yeah.
And his line for that every time he did it was, it should be noted that the last playing card I have thrown went into the exact same spot as the card before it, a feat so impressive I am forced to mention it myself.
Yeah.
And I was like,
oh,
that's a great way of putting, hey, I just did something brilliant. I hate that I have to be the one to point out how brilliant it is, but I'm not going to be okay with going on without it.
Is there a better definition for magic? All of magic?
Yeah.
I've never did it on stage, but I always wanted to do a bit that being very rich is like being a magician.
Okay.
Because I pour you wine and I go like, this wine actually belonged to Saint Francis of Assisi, and it's been aged for 3,000. Like, you have to explain why it matters.
Yep.
And when a magician has to be like, and you'll notice I set your watch to 12 noon, and was I ever near you?
Right.
You know what I mean? It's the same sort of, what a drag. And that's what I feel like David Blaine was like, if you have to explain it. That's why he started regurgitating frogs and stuff, because he was like, if you have to be like, and that I've done magic. You have to be like, and I never went over there. Like, you have to walk them towards the amazement. It's not great.
I agree with you. You need to, I would think if you find that you're constantly explaining the impressive thing you just did as a magician, you need to work on your act.
Or I would just revamp all of magic, because that's what we've learned.
You want to do a rebranding.
A rebranding. I'm not saying Ricky Jay was wrong to call it out, and that's a brilliant way to do it.
Yeah.
But, like, I don't know. Do we care?
I mean,
that's the question: is do we care that the card hit the same spot?
I saw his stage show twice in person, and every time he said that line, it always gets a huge laugh. He did that on Conan.
And did it.
And did the line, and it too there got a huge laugh. It's a good laugh line.
We were also talking about In and of Itself, which, did you see that?
Not yet.
Derek Delgadio, but he does incredible card. I mean, like, really incredible.
Yeah.
Like, it's not exactly this, but he shuffles a deck and then he makes it all red, all black, like perfect sequential order, like by shuffling.
Yeah.
And sometimes things are so amazing you actually don't understand them, and you do need someone. So I'm going back. I'm now arguing the other side.
I have to tell
that
you,
people are too stupid to know what's amazing.
That's not that hard a trick to do.
Pardon the interruption, weirdos. Hey, guys, it's time to bring that summer heat into the bedroom. That's right. This episode is sponsored by Blue Chew. Guys, confidence can take you far in life. It can also help in the bedroom, especially when it comes time to step up to the plate. Talking about doing it. And that's where Blue Chew comes in. Blue Chew is a unique online service that delivers the same active ingredients as Viagra and Cialis, but in chewable tablets at a fraction of the cost. You can take them anytime, day or night, so you can plan ahead or be ready whenever the opportunity arises. The process is simple. Sign up at BlueChew.com, consult with their online medical licensed medical providers, and once you're approved, you'll receive your prescription within days. The best part? It's all done online. That means no visits to the doctor's office, no awkward conversations, and no waiting in line at the pharmacy. Blue Chew's tablets are made in the USA and prepared and shipped directly to your door in a discreet package. With Blue Chew, men everywhere excited to see the postman because when your package has arrived, God, your package has arrived. Do you get it? Your package. Come on, everybody. They always say the first impression is important, but what about lasting impressions? It's time to get off the couch and get back to work. If your tool needs an upgrade, head to BlueChew.com. Women say there's nothing sexier than confidence, and Blue Chew can help you give you confidence where it counts. So if you could benefit from the extra confidence when it's time to perform, Blue Chew can help. And we've got a special deal for our listeners. Try Blue Chew free when you use promo code WEIRD at checkout. Just pay $5 shipping. That's BlueChew.com, promo code WEIRD to receive your first month free. Visit BlueChew.com for more details and important safety information. And we thank Blue Chew for sponsoring this podcast. Enjoy the rest of the show. Boom. Sammy.
Yeah.
Who are you talking to?
I'm talking to you. You could do that trick. I could teach you to do that trick in about 90 minutes.
Sammy.
Yeah.
I'm gonna talk to Sam in Italian.
He's a Godfather reference.
I'm gonna speak to Sammy in Italian right now. We're gonna talk magic right now. I don't mean. I mean like a random. Like we're gonna shuffle a random card. Like I'm gonna take a deck of cards out. I'm gonna demonstrate that they're randomized.
Sure.
Then I'm going to shuffle them blind.
Well, you're not going to shuffle them blind.
Well, I mean, I'm not looking.
It's going to look.
I'm not looking.
What it's going to
blind.
look like you're just mashing them up. You're throwing some this way. You're going to throw some this way.
I'm talking riffle shuffles.
Riffles.
Riffles.
Yes.
Sammy.
Yeah.
Neither of us are able to do that trick.
I disagree.
I
mean, I just
because
said I
it's
hadn't
not a
seen
trick.
the movie, so
it's
he
mechanics.
May be, yeah. So I haven't seen the trick. He may be doing a different version of this, but what you're describing broadly is...
I know that trick.
You know that trick.
It's not that.
Oh, it's not? Well, I could teach you to do the one I'm talking about.
I've done it.
Okay. See? You see? Where's my camera? You see?
Oh, those aren't running. JK. Second time Fez come up this week, too.
Oh, Fe. Oh, I say it all the time.
It's a great one. I say papa.
Papa?
Do you do papa?
No.
I thought that was perhaps Yiddish. It's when if someone says like if Sammy's foot falls off and you go papa, it's your way of saying like
oh, God forbid.
Don't. Yeah, God forbid, or also like I'm not asking
don't
for
even
that.
put it out there.
Yeah, let's stop it from going out there.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead. So Steve Jobs.
Oh, right.
Michael Fassbender.
Michael Fassbender.
Too good looking for Steve Jobs.
Way too good looking.
Too good looking for a man.
Ashton Kutcher, also too good looking for Steve Jobs.
Agree, but that movie was so bad he actually became less handsome. I'm not even kidding.
Yeah.
If you're like in the dumb Steve Jobs movie,
Yeah.
Go, am I moist?
Yeah.
what
That's you're supposed to do?
They kind of evaporate, and then Fassbender comes out and is like,
Ooh, wow. I never thought in the world someone would add sound effects to a drying vagina.
a dehumidifying.
A dehumidified
that
vagina.
Ashton Kutcher in Jobs was a dehumidifier.
Dehumidifier
for the
vaginas.
ladies. We can just say vaginas, yeah.
Can we?
These are technical terms. Call me now. We don't know.
We started off with Holocaust and mocking Miss Cleo. I think we could do anything.
Sam,
we
we're floating in space, man.
I was so excited to come here today because I was like, I know what conversations I tend to get into when I do podcasts, but I have no idea where this is going to go today, and I'm really excited about it.
Yeah.
And so far, I'm not disappointed.
And
anyway,
I can't wait to get started.
I am in the bad Steve Jobs movie.
You what?
I am in the bad Steve Jobs movie. That's why I tell this story. Shitting on it. Yeah. Oh, it's fine.
I've been shitting on it.
It's fine. Here's the reason I tell the story when we talk about
Did
Jobs.
you do one with Ashy?
Yeah, I'm in that movie.
Did you do a scene with him?
I did.
With Ashy?
Yes.
So you can say he was probably humidifying.
I mean, on the day.
Yeah, on the day.
Here is what I will say. He walked around with the glasses.
Yeah.
And stayed for better or worse in character while we were not rolling. It was important to him to stay in that space as long as possible for the best performance.
Yes, job space.
That being said, I originally auditioned for that movie for a different role. I don't even remember which one. And
You'd be a good Woz.
I don't think they
am I
read me
making
for
fun
Woz.
of you?
I don't think they read me
You'd
for
be a
Woz.
great
By the way,
Wozniak.
I will say this: for as impressive as the Fassbender Jobs movie was, the cast on the Cucci one, it's
pretty
good. It's
good.
nothing to shake a stick at.
I tried to watch it, and it did his LSD trip where he's conducting the grains of, like, he's in a field and he's conducting it, and I was just like, I don't know why it's doing that sequence wrong. It felt wrong.
Yeah.
I have another thing to say, but keep going.
Okay. So I did the audition, and I remember even at my audition realizing I'm so wrong for the role they're asking me to read for. And then they had at the this is back in the days when you would audition in person, they had all the sides for all the other characters laid out on the table. Sometimes casting offices will have that because they have multiple actors coming in to read for multiple roles, and people forget their sides sometimes. And so I'm looking around and I see a smaller part, but the description is right there. I'm like, oh, this is a part I could do.
Yeah. What did it say?
I don't remember.
A Samm Levine type?
A Samm Levine type, short, Jewish. We're not sure if he's Jewish. Hopefully someone will ask him.
SJPI, possibly Italian.
Possibly Italian.
Possibly. Yeah.
And so I don't remember
Call
what
me
it was.
now?
Anyway, I went in and I actually walked into the audition, and everyone was in the room, and I was like, okay, here's the part you asked me to read for. I don't want to waste anyone's time. Here's the part I just saw in the waiting room. Can I read this instead? It's a smaller role. Don't tell my agents. They'll be angry with me. Are you guys okay with that? And they were like, yeah. So that's what I read for instead. And then I didn't hear anything for like a month. And I thought, oh, well, whatever, I tried. And then they called and offered me a third role, a completely different role, not one of the ones that I was supposed to read for, the one I actually did read for. And it was Apple Designer number 2. And I was like, all right.
82?
No, number 2.
AD number 2.
AD number 2. And it sounds like it's not great necessarily to play a character that doesn't have a name, but in this particular instance, they sent over the script, and he actually had not a small amount of dialogue in a scene. He's in like 2 scenes, and then the second scene he's got quite a bit, and I thought, oh well, that's very exciting, and so I said, yeah, sure, I'd be happy to do it, and so I got hired to work for 2 days, and we shot it up somewhere in the North Valley. And I get to set, and we shoot it out of order. So we shoot my second scene first, where I'm really just in the background. And then I think we had the weekend. I think that was like a Friday. And then I came back in on Monday, and we're going to shoot the bulk of it, the thing where I have a whole lot of back and forth with Jobs. And we get called to set, and we're doing a little rehearsal of the scene. And there's a little bit of stuff before Jobs walks into the room, a little bit of business, and I'm not, and then I don't have much business. I have business when he walks in, and so there's some business, and then he walks in, and we're just doing a rehearsal for the director and camera department, and then I'm waiting for the part where he's supposed to address me, and I'm waiting, and then all of a sudden Jobsy turns and does a different portion of the scene, like the end of the scene. And he just moves over there. And then the director and the camera person are just following. And I'm like, and I don't say anything.
You mean he went completely out of order?
Completely out of order, like skipped a whole page. The page.
Your page.
Where I have lines and stuff.
He cut Levine.
And I was like, oh, surely this must be a mistake. Surely the director or the script supervisor who is reading and realizing that we've skipped a page of dialogue, surely one of them will say something. And so the scene ends, and the director's like, okay, cut, that was great. And then he goes over to talk, and then I walk over to the script supervisor. I'm like, did we just... And she's like, yeah, just give me a second, I'll figure this out. And I was like, okay. And I'm standing there, and I see Jobsy and the director. They're talking, and she's watching and listening, and then she looks over at me, and she just goes... And I'm realizing that just apropos of nothing... Either he or the director or whomever, they just decided, this bit we don't need it. It takes the scene somewhere else and we don't need it. So we'll just cut
on the fly.
They cut it on the fly. So I wound up having one line
Apple super. You had less lines than your character's name.
Truly. And I was like, all right, look, I'm a big boy. I've been cut out of plenty of things.
Yeah, I've been cut out of better joints than this.
I've been cut out of so many things. And I was like, look, that's fine. It honestly doesn't matter whether they cut it now or they get to the edit and they cut it there. Frankly, less work for me to do, so I don't care. Fewer work for me to do, thank you. I don't care. I do, however, I hadn't yet signed my contract. It was still sitting in my my little trailer. I hadn't signed it on Friday. And so I call my manager. I explain the situation. I was like, look, it's fine, whatever. It's not a huge deal. But I think I should probably go uncredited in this movie with my one line of dialogue.
Leave my name off.
Leave my name off just because I'd rather it be that way I can... It's the kind of thing where someone will see me in the movie. They'll look for my name in the credits. It won't be there. They'll second guess themselves. They'll have to look it up. It'll be one of those weird things that, like, it makes it a little more special for me.
Lore.
Sure.
You want to be Lore.
I would love to be a little Lore. I'm unbilled in Lost.
Ooh, cashier in the final season.
You have looked
Everyone
on the
loves
internet. Yeah. So
What's conspicuous on your Wikipedia page? It says like Sam was friends with one of the creators of Lost,
Damon Lindelof.
who edit that out.
Okay, fine.
Who kept saying, "I'll write something for you on the show."
Wow, you're quoting directly from Wikipedia. And
Well, citation no longer needed. It's confirmed.
I just said you're quoting from Wikipedia. I've confirmed nothing.
You've confirmed
I've
it by
confirmed
not
that
denying
I've
it.
seen it.
It's an old Chinese proverb. A riffing man is understood to consent.
Yes. Anyway, so I was like, hey, listen, I haven't signed this yet. Have them print up a new one. Everything's the same except I want no credit in the end credit crawl. And he was like, sure. So he calls and they were like, oh, are you sure? You sure? I was like, yeah, I'm sure. It's fine. I have to go back and shoot.
Are you sure this wasn't you being a little bit of a stinker in a good way? Because they kind of like pooped on your maybe, sandwich.
But
and you were like, you can poop on my sandwich, but you're not going to make me thank you for it.
I was definitely not thrilled on the day. I remember that.
No, I've been in your situation where someone jumps your part.
Right.
And it's not,
Like I said, I've been cut out of things, so I'm always prepared for any work I do on the day to be seen by no one.
Sure.
But that was the first time, I think, it had happened where I was standing there watching it unfold in real time. Yeah. We're not even going to waste
You've never been cut like a play.
The film to shoot this scene.
Yeah. That wasn't shot on iPhones?
And so I was like, it's fine. Like, whatever. But just don't throw me in it.
You didn't think about...
It'll be fun for me. I'll keep this job still fun for me.
I actually really like that. I think that's a nice way to alchemize and you're like, I'm going to turn this into lore.
Yeah.
And a story.
And so that's what I asked for.
You
and
also...
So that's what we did. And then...
It's fun. These are so hard to do in real life, but when they happen, very natural.
I forgot about it. So I finished shooting the day. And then... my contract's in. I finish shooting. I forget about it. I move on with my life. The movie comes out. I did not see it in theaters. And several years go by. And I am on an airplane. And it's like 2016 or something maybe. And
degrees on the airplane?
And I was... it was one of the flights where it gives you cable or whatever.
Sure.
And the movie was playing on my screen without me having touched anything.
Oh.
Like, I sat down in a seat on a plane.
You were on Ashton Kutcher Airlines.
I was on Ashton Kutcher Airlines, and that was just the movie playing on the channel that came up.
70s show. That's all you get.
I was kind of half awake, half asleep when it started. And I'm watching the movie, and my hand to God, this is the only time this has ever happened in my life. I forgot I was in that movie.
Oh, wow.
And at one point, he rounds the corner and walks into this room, and then there's a shot of the room, and I go, fuck, that's right.
Wow.
Like, I'd blocked it all out. Like,
you cut yourself out of the movie.
I cut myself out of that movie in my brain.
Wow.
And I was like, oh, right. And he was, what's going on here? Or why are you here? And I have my one line in the movie. It's 11 a.m. on a Wednesday or whatever it is. And I was like, oh, my God. Oh my God. Like I had a moment
Yeah.
in my seat on this plane.
Yes.
I was like, I am not prolific. I'm not successful I'm not some actor who's
By
been
my
in,
mother's
by my
standards.
mother's standards. I'm not some actor who's been in I'm not Sam Jackson. Like
I'm Samm
who's been in
Levine.
250 movies, and it's like, oh yeah, I forgot I was in that. No, like this
Yeah.
was the weirdest sensation that had ever happened to me.
Can I? You're going to like this.
Well, I have to put the button on it.
No.
Okay.
MeUndies.com. I'm just kidding. Go on. Go on. That was a joke.
That's the place to put it, by the way.
Joke.
So I watched the rest of the movie. I'm like, oh my God, that's amazing. And then it all comes back to me, what happened, the thing, and I want to be on build. And then I'm watching on this little DirecTV screen, the tiny little credits. And I'm like, oh, and I forgot he was in that. Oh, and I forgot he was in that. And the motherfuckers billed me. Apple designer number 2, Samm Levine. They ignored my contract.
But you said.
I said.
Just like Apple. You probably signed a contract, but there was all this stuff about iTunes and privacy in there.
Third-party apps.
Ask app not to track. Ask film not to credit.
Ask Phil. And I remember like I was pissed and I called him out. I was like, can we do something about that? He's like, the film's 4 years old. I don't know what you want from me.
That's hilarious that you tried.
I wasn't
That's
trying.
like
I was
that's
like,
your Pam and Tommy sex tape. Like we need to get
like-
it out. They're
I
like
was
it's
like-
already on the internet.
I was like, isn't that violation of an agreed upon contract? And he's like, well, here's the problem. There's always a clause in there about crediting in every contract where it's like failure to do the thing that we're agreeing upon here on the producer's side is not to be viewed as intentional.
I see.
So
any similarity to people being credited in this movie is entirely
So if they misspell your name in the credits,
3 M's.
there you go. I love that that's the mistake. Not 1 M, but 3 M's.
3 M's.
Which then
We
a
know
whole-
it's not
But
1
then a
M.
whole corporation gets involved. The
It's
3M Corp gets involved.
Sam-
And they've got money because of Post-its.
Who?
3M.
You are fun. And Lisa Kudrow, who pretended to invent Post-its
Post-its.
in the movie,
Romy and Michelle's high school reunion
Which
from
came out
1997.
97.
Opposite Volcano. They were in theaters the same time. I saw them both in the same day.
Volcano.
With Tommy Lee Jones and Anne Heche.
We gotta get this volcano out of here. I tried to think of what Tommy Lee Jones.
Tommy Lee Jones.
We gotta get this volcano out of here. There's a volcano and it's about to blow.
What's the cheek thing?
I don't know.
Why
It
were you
just
pulling
kind of
your
feels like a.
You think he had big cheeks in that one?
No, he's just sort of droopier.
Okay.
There's
still
evil.
holding
There's evil
together
out here.
on
I can't even imagine. You ever watch a movie with Tommy Lee Jones and it's like 20 years old and he looks really old then, and you're like, shit.
20 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was old 20 years ago.
Can I tell you a great Tommy Lee Jones movie you've
He's
never
starting
heard
to
of?
look like the other face.
You've never heard of this movie. It's called Rolling Thunder.
I have heard of it.
Okay, it's him and William Devane, and it's from the 70s.
William
and it's
Devane.
a total grindhouse movie.
Oh, okay. I haven't heard
And
of it.
it's super cool, and it's badass, and it's one of the youngest Tommy Lee Jones I've ever seen, and he's fucking intense in this movie.
I love it.
Yeah.
I also need it.
Check it out, Rolling Thunder.
Here's a story that I think you're going to love. And I loved your story, and I'm here for you.
Thank you.
I did try to cut it off. MeUndies.com/weird. Somebody, I have this on good authority, but I don't want to say who told me the story because I don't want to out them. That one time John Malkovich was trying to remember all the movies he was in.
Yeah.
He went like, I was trying to remember all the movies that I've been in, that I have been in. I can't do it today. And he goes, and I couldn't remember them. Even the weird one with my name in the title. You mean being John Malkovich? It's mostly your name.
You couldn't remember the word being.
Being John Malkovich. The weird one with my name in the title.
Yeah.
Couldn't remember it.
Maybe
That's
he was
a lot
talking
of-
about that Jewel Thief movie.
Very good.
Thank you.
Very good. Being John Malkovich is very sad. There's a lot of movies that I can't watch. There's something sad. I don't like John Cusack and his bad relationship and the woman with the monkey in their little apartment. And then he's in love with Catherine Keener and she's so mean to him. It's something about and he's struggling on the street and he's not understood. It's just too. It's hard. It breaks my heart. I'm just like, I just want to get that guy.
Craig,
A New Life.
Lottie and Maxine. It takes. Sometimes I have to do that in my head.
The characters.
The character names. Yeah, he's.
What's
Craig.
the monkey's name?
Elijah.
Sorry, are we winning a trivia night right now?
You asked.
That was
I had it
very
in there.
good. What's going on with that kind of noodle?
That's how my brain works. I remember
Totos?
everything in the movies and most of the TVs, some of the TVs. There's a lot of TVs.
What is going on there? I have like in Freaky Geeky, I always think of Martin Starr eating and laughing at the.
Yep.
And was that you? Like, why the emotional bond to movies?
Okay, here we go. It's a couple of reasons.
Watch this.
What a power move. It's a couple reasons. You're so loud, my mic will pick you up. It's a couple reasons.
So true. So true.
And the first one is the great reason. The second one's the bummer reason. And then the third one's the great reason. The first reason is...
It's like an Oreo with shit in the middle.
Don't eat that shit.
Just twist those off. Wash those.
it. Definitely.
Actually,
run
just
it
throw
through.
the whole cookie out.
You're better off. So you know what? Skip the story. So the first reason is my parents both are huge film people.
Cinephiles.
I was raised in a house where
film
I
house.
was... Yeah, in a sin house. I was raised in a house of sin where I was allowed to have a television with full cable TV access. I mean, every channel under the sun when I was 11 years old in my bedroom.
You ever just get up to pee at like 11:30 and just throw on Cinemax to see what's happening?
Do you mean when I got up to pee at 11:30 and Cinemax had been on all night already? Do you think at 11:30 I was like, maybe now's the time to turn it off? No.
Do you remember when it would tell you the letters and it would be like nudity and sexual
I mean, that
situations?
came later, but yes.
Oh, later.
Yeah.
What year
that was
that?
not... I couldn't tell you when they started with the TV ratings like
But
that.
that became like why you would watch a movie you had never heard of.
Yes.
It took the guesswork out of WTBAB.
Yep.
Will there be a booby?
You know, it wouldn't say booby. It would just say this film contains nudity. But it was the 90s, so it was definitely a booby. Unless it was the piano.
JJ hurting?
What?
My JJ hurting?
My vajayjay is painin'.
Painin'.
Yeah.
Yeah, hurting is my Hulu password. Sorry. Okay.
So my parents loved movies. They had an enormous collection. My late grandfather, my mother's father, he too had an enormous collection of VHS tapes and Laserdisc. And I was brought up with a love of cinema.
Wow.
And
for the kids, a Laserdisc is a DVD you could cook a pizza on.
It was the size of one. It was the size of like a
personal
pizza. A personal pizza you get, like the frozen pizzas.
It's actually kind of a pizza you would get at a movie theater.
Ooh.
Very fitting.
Yes.
Yes.
Maybe that's what they based the size of those movie theater pizzas on.
Somebody's like, where should we print these things? I'll have a pizza.
We got a lot of laser discs. Nobody wants them. We could use those to keep the pies warm.
That's what they're doing now.
That's what they sure are.
You know how some people would hang a CD from thetheir rear view? I did that with a laser disc. I got in so many accidents.
And then a couple of you, sir, you know you can't have the, oh my God, 1984's Dune.
No, it's Copland.
We gotta watch it.
1984's Dune.
I don't think...
The Chalamet-less Dune? Give me Dune, no Chalamet.
Anyway, so that's reason number one.
So watching a lot, Cinemax,
Watching a lot.
and your cinephile,
Cinemax,
mother's
HBO,
father.
Turner Classic Movies, all the movies. My folks said movies are important. Here, watch these movies. We love these movies.
Before you get to the sad reason, do you remember the one movie that you were, not your favorite movie, but the first movie you watched and you were like, oh shit, movies can transport me somewhere?
100%.
101 Dalmatians?
100% I can tell you the movie.
101% Dalmatian.
It's not just that. It is my favorite movie, but for that very reason.
What is?
A Clockwork Orange. That was the movie that I saw in my bedroom with this goofy fucking TV that I had no business having. It started at like 1 a.m. on a school night.
TWBAB. There will be a boob.
There will be lots of boobies.
Yeah, there's lots of
and
boobies.
some dongs.
But also
some
in a
very
way that
upsetting
is
things.
like upsetting.
Very upsetting.
You're not ready for upsetting sexuality when you don't even have regular sexuality.
Correct.
You know what I mean? I'm barely ready for that movie now.
Yeah. No, I was like 11, maybe 12.
Yeah, that's when you want
And
to see.
it's the
Clockwork
wrong
Orange.
age.
2 camera.
Right in there. It was the wrong age, but in a good way, it turned out to be the right age because it changed the way I saw movies. I mean, I'd seen movies with some kind of heavy stuff in it. I'd never seen a movie like that.
Yeah.
I did not think a story like that could be told in a film.
Yeah.
And let alone a film that at that point was 5 years old. No, younger than that.
I haven't seen it in a very long time. I don't think I've seen that movie since I would be capable of understanding it. Does it? This is a silly question. Does it hold up? Is it still a masterpiece?
I believe it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think it is
kind of about mind control.
It's about a lot of things. It's based on a book, which I then read by Anthony Burgess. But it's a really hard book to read because it's written in Newspeak, which is how the Droogs speak to each other. How Alex in the future, yes.
Do they speak in Newspeak in the movie?
They do.
All I remember is ultraviolence.
Ultraviolence. Viddy well, little brother.
Okay, so the whole book,
with
even
the
the
help
narrator.
Of a clean tash took, the red groovy soon stopped. Yeah, these are all.
Wow.
This is how.
If I'm a producer, I have one note.
And it is?
Fucking cut it out.
Yeah, but it's in Newspeak.
Wow. And the narrator in the book is also like, sit down, bruv. That's not even it. But tell me, wait, let me start over. Call me now.
That was in the book. But, they cut it. Yeah.
Even the narrator is speaking in Newspeak.
Yes, Alex, the narrator. Speaks.
Oh, it's in his head.
Yes.
How troubling.
Well,
you don't want to be in that head.
You don't.
I mean,
Alexander Delarge.
So tell me a little bit what it's about, just because I want to.
Clockwork Orange.
Yeah. You're saying it was about a lot of things.
It's about a lot of things, but
holds up.
It's about the decay of society and the overreach of government to meddle with things. Yeah.
Right, and also like, I'm sorry, this is stupid to burden you with telling me what Clockwork Orange is about.
Sure.
But it seems to be like all the holding his eyes open and stuff, like brainwashing. Like
yes.
it seems a little predictive. I think it's interesting how our phones now tell us what reality is. Social media tells us what reality is, and how susceptible human beings are to images. Ooh. You know what I mean? Like seeing used to be believing, but now seeing isn't believing anymore.
Right.
But like you can make people believe a lot of things by showing them echo chambers. Is it kind of predicting some of that a little bit?
To a degree. I mean, the thing about, at least the movie, when I think about it, there were some things that it was definitely prescient about.
Prescient?
And then there, it's a good word. And then there were others that
I don't
missed
care
the
for
mark.
it.
You don't care for me saying prescient's a good word? It's not like I invented the word.
No, I do like it.
I didn't
I
invent
was 100% kidding. And it missed the mark in other ways?
Yeah, I mean, any movie where you're dealing with futuristic stuff, you're going to be wrong on some things.
Right.
Yeah, no, it's and I haven't rewatched it in years, but it lives rent free in my head. Even if I just seen it the one time when I was 12, I think I was 12, it would live in my brain. Of course,
it burned into you.
It was
you were a
seared
clean white piece of paper
to a degree.
And then this movie comes in. Yeah. Was that troubling for you?
Oddly, not really.
But
I think only because even at that 12, I'd already seen enough movies with hard things to watch in them that my parents knew about and had prepped me for. So when I saw something I wasn't prepped for on my own, I was like, oh no, I mean, this is troubling. Like there is a rape in that movie. There's more than one. And that is a tough thing to watch.
Yes. That's all I remember.
Yeah.
And I saw it probably when I was like 14 or so.
Yeah. And so, I definitely was very uncomfortable and felt bothered by that, but not in a way where I was like, oh, I got to turn this off. I was more like, he's a monster. Let's see what happens to him. Does he get his comeuppance? Right. Does he reform? What happens to this character? And I couldn't stop watching it.
Right. It was an ugly story, but you were invested in the story.
Yes.
Yeah. And that was the first movie where you were like, oh my God, this movie completely changed.
It changed the way I thought about movies and storytelling.
Yeah.
And after that, the floodgates opened and I wanted to see everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I just tell you, just because I'm embarrassed, that mine was Good Will Hunting? Okay. We're having fun.
What's embarrassing about that?
We're having fun.
No. And you don't have to be embarrassed, and here's why.
Tell me. I'm not super embarrassed, but yours is like cool. It's like an art house film. I know that won an Academy Award, Best Screenplay.
And
Best Supporting Actor.
There it is.
1996? Seven? Yeah. So I'm a senior in high school.
Okay. What is this?
This noise sucks.
It's a weird noise, and I'm glad we have cameras here because people would not.
I hate what I'm doing.
Yeah.
It's this weird sort of.
You're celebrating.
I hate it. This is it. This is the last time I do that noise.
Great.
But I'm only saying this to see what it makes you think of. My friend John Fonz Arelli and I, we called him Fonz.
Sure.
Fonz Arelli we went and saw it in Woburn.
Yep.
And after it ends, it ends with Will Hunting, which is stupid that his name is Will Hunting.
It's a dumb name. Yeah.
It's really stupid. Yeah. Even Matty D has to be like, if I could change anything, I'd change that fucking name. Yeah. We just went for a drive, and I really vividly remember the street lamps going by, because I was in a different place.
Yeah.
Like, you kind of forget, or sometimes when I'm pitching a movie, I'll remind people, like, do you remember what it was like being 16, 17 and you watched a movie and it actually like snapped you into reality? Mm-hmm. It wasn't just an escape. It was. But when it was over, you were more in your body and more in this time and this place than you were before you watched it. Like 100%. It reminded you of the potential, of the magic of life.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
But not enough people are talking about this.
No.
Like, that's that's what we mean when we mean the magic of the movies.
Sure.
It's not the red vines.
No, it's the movie. It's the story. It's the
hypnosis.
It's the leaving your reality to be completely engrossed in this fictional or possibly non-fictional story you're watching.
Yeah.
And it's the only thing you're concerned with.
For
and
a
then
while.
the credits roll, and it's a crude snapping back into reality, but your brain wanted to keep that world going.
That's why credits. We watched a movie last night, and as soon as the credits started, in the corner, it was called like. It started, and the bar was going real fast.
Yeah.
I don't know what app we were watching it on, but it started going like 10 seconds to like 30 blinks a minute or something.
Yeah.
It was some dumb thing.
Yep.
Had nothing to do with what we were watching. And we were mad. We were like, fuck you. We just watched a movie. Give us 5 seconds to listen. It's perfect that it's black, that it's just subtle text.
Yes.
You need that time. That Dead Poet Society is another one.
Yeah.
You're devastated.
Yes.
You don't want a little icon in the corner being like 30 seconds to too fresh for this island. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
When did it become, a content consuming coma, like a food coma?
Basic cable.
BC.
Yeah. Because they were the first ones that would, they'd show a movie with commercials. And then instead of showing the credits as the movie was intended, that would go into a small box at lightning speed.
Yeah.
And then another box would come on. Coming up next, stick around for another episode of The Honeymooners.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
you're helping me see.
And before that, you could watch that's what was great about premium cable, HBO, Cinemax. They would show the movie start to finish
with the
as
credits.
Intended with credits.
Of course.
So anyway, what I was saying is don't ever be embarrassed about saying you liked a movie or this is the movie I saw that made me think X, Y, and Z, because you're talking about your favorites.
Yes.
And when you're talking about favorites, anything goes.
No one can touch your favorites.
No one can touch your favorites. If you say, the movie I saw that made me change everything was Air Bud 2. And you're like...
Golden Receiver?
Great. Yeah. I think that's the first one. Isn't Air Bud Golden Receiver the first one?
I believe Air Bud... Oh, my God.
I don't know. I'd have to
Air
look it up.
Bud 3, I think, is when he swaps to basketball.
Fuck. Anyway, don't make me go down that rabbit hole. My point is, if
That
Air Bud
golden
2,
retriever
if you
hole.
and I are sitting here and you were like, can I tell you the movie for me?
Yeah.
I was like, yeah. And you said Air Bud 2. I'd go, tell me about it.
It's like a religion or something.
Right,
It's like
because
your
that's your favorite
Yes,
movie.
Yeah.
Now, if I said to you, Pete, what's the best movie?
Yeah.
There's a correct answer to that, and it's The Godfather. But I didn't. That's
I'm
not
gonna
what we were
speak to
talking
Sam in
about.
Italian.
That's not what we were talking about.
I already referenced your favorite movie.
You did.
Or
That's
the best
not
movie.
That's the best movie.
You think it's the best movie?
I think it's the best movie. Huh. Yeah. Yeah. And with all due respect to Citizen Kane and Casablanca, they don't hold a candle to Godfather.
Yeah. I've seen all three of these movies. Well, you're gonna hate this. I've never watched The Godfather start to finish. You're gonna hate this. I knew you were gonna hate this. I knew you were gonna hate this. Here's our clickbait. No, Gallagher, no. Come back. Okay, here he is.
Why?
I'll tell you, when I met Valerie, the night we met, I told her, we both said to each other we had never seen The Godfather, start to finish.
Yeah.
And we vowed on the night we met that we would never see The Godfather.
What a shitty vow. Why would you do that to yourself?
I don't know.
It's so good, Pete.
It's not like Have you seen?
Wait, why are you quoting it to me if you've never seen it?
Because it's such a part of culture that you don't even have to have seen it. I go
You're
to the
like a
bathroom, Sopranos finale. I'm going to speak to Michael in Italian. Make an offer he can't refuse on the day of my daughter's wedding. This guy's a real Vito Corleone.
You're like a guy who like goes to work and like overhears two coworkers talking about like a sporting event or something that he definitely didn't watch, and then he goes out to drinks with his buddies
And he
that
pretends
night,
that he watched
and he
it.
pretends that he watched it.
Sam,
Yeah.
I'm going to carve you a People's Choice Award out of soap because that's so right. I think the best movie is There Will Be Blood. Deal with that.
If that's what you think is the best movie,
But I just wanted
I'd be
you-
happy to have that conversation.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I think
What's
it's
your favorite?
my favorite movie.
Yeah.
A Clockwork Orange.
Really?
We already talked about this.
No,
Were
I know,
you
but
here?
But I said what was the first movie that opened you to the
And I
potential?
said it also happens to be my favorite movie
wasn't
for that reason.
listening to that part. I'm just
Yeah.
kidding. I was. I forgot, and I'm embarrassed.
That's okay. It's not like the Oxford-Cambridge thing. That was embarrassing.
Oxford, Cambridge.
You thought that you didn't know they were two different cities.
Was that on another episode?
It was. I listened to your show, Pete. Yeah, I'm embarrassed for you so often.
I hope so. If you're really pulling the curtain back on the ABCs of you, there should be some embarrassing things in there.
That is not true.
That's so fun.
I love how you are in your podcast because you have been on a million, I have been on a million, and they're mostly horseshit.
Pods.
And this is such a real podcast
Oh,
because
thanks, man.
you're not sitting here with notes.
No
you,
notes.
You know, you Googled and whatever stuck, and it seems like it's very little, but that's good. That's a good thing.
I knew it was Everybody Loves Hugo, the Lost episode. Look, your Wikipedia page is thin.
What?
It's thin.
I haven't looked at it in a while.
No, I'm not saying
wanna
it's
add to it?
bad thin. Yeah, let's add to it.
Okay, you wanna
let's
make
add
some
this.
stuff
This is the header.
Okay.
Supernatural occurrences.
I knew you were going to ask me about this, and I'm a bummer.
No, you're not a bummer.
Here's the thing. If you believe in ghosts and you want to see a ghost, you
Go
are
see
going to
one.
see a ghost.
Yeah, okay.
If you believe in aliens and you want to see a UFO, I have no doubt in my mind you are going to see a UFO.
Really?
Have I seen a UFO? Sure have. I've been in plenty of airplanes. I've looked out the window and seen stuff in the far, far distance that I went, what in the fuck is that? That doesn't look like an airplane. That doesn't look like a balloon or a blimp. What the fuck could that thing be?
And then you turn
I go,
back and go,
I'm never going to know, and I will move on with my life. I'm pretty certain whatever it is either too far for me to tell, but probably man-made, and that's how I'm going to go on with the day.
But you know that it's like confirmed that they're out there, right?
It's not confirmed that they're out there. What it's confirmed is that there have been what I just described, like Air Force guys.
But the Air Force is like, we don't know what
the Air
they
Force
are.
like, we don't know what this is.
Yeah.
And here's what I say to that. And I mean, I've read lots of it because it is fascinating just to read about and like to hear not some knucklehead in the Midwest, but
Right.
like Air Force. I read all that when they dumped those documents. I was
Yeah.
like, what did these guys see? How did they describe it? What got caught on video? And I've seen the videos and stuff they've released, and I'm like, yeah, I have no explanation for what that is. But here's what I will say. The United States government and like most other giant superpowers, they have different divisions
That don't
in their
talk to
military
each other?
branch. They do not talk to each other or share information.
Right.
So if the
Air Force
NSA
doesn't
or
know.
the Air Force or, you know, MI6 or whomever, if they
This
are
is very-
working on
yeah,
some sort
yeah.
of thing, they're not going to just be like, listen, FBI, we just wanted to give you guys a heads up. We're going to be doing some weird
Yeah,
experiments at 70,000 feet.
It's not your jurisdiction.
Yeah, they're not going to tell anyone about
Yeah.
it. They're just going to do that
Yeah,
shit.
if you have a Tic Tac that can make a right angle.
And because most of the people seeing this stuff are Air Force pilots and not commercial airliners, something tells me this stuff is happening way far away from where any commercial airline would ever fly, i.e. the safest place to try out this equipment if you were a government looking for airspace that doesn't have a whole lot of action going on in it. So yeah, you go crazy up north by the poles and you try out your $80 billion spy
Tic-tac.
thing.
Yeah.
And some pilot sees it and goes, I don't know what the hell that is. I've never seen anything move like it. And then somewhere in Russia, they go, hey, we got away with it. And that's that. And
Why'd
it's
you have to
confusing.
give it to Russia?
Well, they have
Why
a lot of
couldn't
money.
it be us?
Well, maybe it's us. I don't know. It could have been us too. Probably was.
I'm like a little boy.
Yeah.
It could be us.
Yeah, it was us. It was us. I take it back.
It's
I was
Spider-Man.
mistaken. It
It's
was
Spider-Man,
us,
right?
Not Russia.
Spider-Man.
It was Spider-Man and Dr. Strangelove.
I actually thought that wasn't a bummer answer at all.
Okay.
How about let's go into things that Sammy does have. I thought that was great.
Oh, thanks.
I was like, what is this? What is this?
Okay.
We're having a great experience.
Yeah.
Ever almost die?
Oh, yeah.
Many times.
Two that really stick out.
Okay.
The first, I was 20 years old, and I was shooting a movie in Mexico.
Oh.
And we were, it was a beautiful place where we were shooting the movie. It was a beach resort. It's called Broken Lizards Club Dread is the movie, if anyone is interested, which we shot on this gorgeous resort island in like southern Mexico. And it was right there on the water.
I remember.
And you were there too.
No, I just remember the movie.
I see.
My favorite joke in that movie is when Favre, whose name is?
Kevin Heffernan,
who's great,
Yep.
did this podcast.
Yep.
He's a bigger guy, but he can chant and he becomes small.
Yes.
And so he becomes small so he can hide. And
Yeah.
someone goes, "Why don't you just do that all the time?" And he goes, "What is this a fat joke?"
Yeah.
Like, it's before "is this a fat joke" really became, to me, that's what made "is this a fat joke" like a part of my life.
Yeah.
But like the most inappropriate time, they're afraid for their life, and he's like,
Yeah.
"Is this a fat joke?" I thought that was so good.
No, there's a lot of really great jokes in that movie.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that it's found a really awesome, devoted audience over the 20 almost years now.
Oh, wow.
It's been out. But we were shooting that movie there, and we shot it in the middle of summer, and we're so close to the equator. And I'd never been that close to the equator. And when you wander into the ocean, and you're that close to the equator, it's like bathwater warm.
Wow.
The ocean water. It's stunningly strange experience to be in ocean water that warm, and it would stay that warm pretty much all day. And you could swim out into the ocean at night.
Wow.
And we often would. We'd wrap the film, the sun would go down, we'd wrap, we'd all have dinner or something, the cast and crew, whatever. We'd have dinner at there was only one restaurant there. And then a handful of people would be like, oh, we're going to go for a dip, then we'll have a swim, then we'll all go to bed.
Yeah, because when you're thinking about a night swim, number one is it's going to be too cold. That's why you don't.
Sure.
Number two is it's scary as fuck.
Yeah.
Dark water.
Yeah. And so I thought I would join them
In
one
the
night.
dark water.
In the dark water. I
What
mean,
kind of moon we looking at?
it cast a nice moon.
You shot some moon
There
shimmer?
was moon shimmer. Yeah, there was
Little
there was,
Oscar Isaac in the sky?
Exactly.
Sorry, I'm paid $100,000 to mention the show Moon Knight.
Wow.
Moon Knight.
But you called it Moon Shadow.
I'm correcting myself now. It's
Okay,
Moon
fine,
Knight with
fine.
Oscar Isaac.
Okay.
Oscar winner. Did he win an Oscar?
I don't think so.
He is an Oscar
He's an
winner.
Oscar nominee.
He's an Oscar,
Yep.
and he's a nominee for himself.
And he'll definitely win at some point. He's very talented.
For Moon Knight.
For Moon Knight.
Because that's a movie.
Night stuff.
Go.
Okay. So,
This riff
this
was
riff-
okay, but go.
It was fine. So,
A riffing man.
It took me a while to work up. Like, it was a couple nights in, and I'd seen the people go out, and they're like 30, 40 feet out off the shore, a whole bunch of them just hanging out there. And I remember thinking, like, I'm not really a strong swimmer, and I'm so nervous to, like, swim out and hang out with that group of people clearly, like, wading water 30 feet out. Like, they all must be in really good shape to, like, hang out there and be having conversations with each other. And I would love to be a part of that, but I'm not a good swimmer. And so, like, on the third night, I was like, to hell with it. And so I walk into the ocean.
You've been a couple margs with dinner?
Maybe one beer.
Couple Marg Simpsons? Just one beer?
Just one beer.
One cerveza?
Yeah, I was a very lightweight. And I was going to say still am, but that's not true. That's a whole other story.
You've worked on it.
The pandemic made me an alcoholic. Not an alcoholic. It gave me the tolerance of an alcoholic.
Okay. All right.
In a good way.
Actually, a lot of alcoholics don't have tolerances because their liver says, I know where this is headed, and they get drunk right away.
Wow.
What a fun fact.
Okay, did not know.
Yeah.
Thanks for the info.
Yeah.
So I start wading out, and, you're walking, not a tall man, and then there's that point where the sand just goes out from your feet, and now you're swimming. And I see how far away they are, and I'm already swimming and fighting the water.
I hate this.
And I know I get like a couple feet further and I'm like, nope, I am not going to make this. And then I turn around and start swimming for the shore, and then I get caught in the undertow in the wave.
I hate every part
It
of
was
this.
not fun, Pete. And
Sammy the Machine.
yeah, and I'm an asthmatic, and I am not a good swimmer, and I'm in terrible shape. and I'm running out of steam real fast, and I can't catch my breath, and I'm fighting, and every time I think I'm about to get back to the sand, another wave hits me and knocks me down. And one of them was so bad it knocked me and slammed me against the bottom of the ocean.
Which had to be a mixed blessing because you're like, oh, here's the bottom.
I was like, I can feel it, but it's like 6 feet beneath me,
Yeah, it's
and
pretty
I'm
deep.
5'5".
Yeah.
And and
You're halfway to a
I'm
fake
thinking,
movie phone number.
like, this is not good, and I kind of start calling.
For help.
I'm with whatever little breath I have left. I'm like, and that's the best I can
Super
muster.
Troopers.
It's the best I can muster
Help
was
me,
a noise
Super
that sounded
Troopers.
like that.
No.
And out of
Machine.
the corner of my eye, I see Mike Weaver, who is an actor in the movie. He's in a lot of the Broken Lizard movies, and I see him swimming towards me, and he kind of sees me, and I see him, and I think, oh my God, he's going to have to save me. And I'm like, Mike, and like I have nothing left, and I am fighting for my life in water that I cannot handle. And I see him coming towards me, and right when I think like I'm about to have to say with my last breaths above water, like, help me, Mike, one of the waves just slams me forward so hard. It slams me against the bottom, but this time kind of pointing me towards the shore, and it bangs me, and I get up, and on my very tiptoes, I'm able to get above the water line. And then I like crawl to shore, and I'd fought so hard for like what in my mind felt like an hour is probably 40 seconds.
Of course.
But I get to shore and I had nothing left. I'm gasping for air and I can't move. And Mike sees me, and he did not hear me screaming at it or trying to scream at him because I know there was very little sound coming from me. And he sees me, he's like, "You all right, buddy?" I'm like, he's like, "Wow, are you all right?" And yeah.
It's so funny how
Closest I came.
quickly we go from don't die
Yeah.
to don't make someone else uncomfortable. You're like immediately like, you know, like,
I
don't
was
worry
like,
about me.
I was like, I don't want anyone to ever know how
Yeah.
clearly ill-equipped to swim into the ocean I was. And I don't want him to feel like I was just about to die. By the way, unbeknownst to me until almost the day we left, because then I was terrified to go back into the water. Unbeknownst to me, at least that area where everyone was wading into the ocean, so it's like shore, dips, comes right back.
It was a crevasse.
All I had to do was get beyond that like first 8 feet, and then the floor comes right back. They were all just standing out there.
I'm
30
not
feet out.
a pastor, but I feel like there's a sermon analogy there to be like, sometimes when you hit adversity, you actually have to go through, keep going. Because Samm the Machine Levine, who died on the set of Club Dread, he didn't know he needed to keep going forward.
Yeah, and the only thing I can think is who they would have recast my role with.
Who's the guy who snags your roles? Fred Savage?
And it it used to change. It was different for years. And before I say some names, I'm going to give you 2 names. You should. I would always think like, oh man, those guys, whatever. I'd seen them in a million auditions, and it was going to be me or him or this third guy, and that was that. Years ago, somebody came up to me at an audition, and saw him, or not an audition, but he saw me out and about somewhere, and he said, "You know, you're the guy who takes all my roles." And I did not know who this person was.
Jude Law.
Mhm. And I'm only familiar with his ex-wife,
Who's Jude Law's ex-wife?
Sadie Frost.
Sadie Hawkins?
Sadie Hawkins. And
That's the one where she asks you to dance.
not Sadie Frost. I don't remember. Anyway, so he says, "Oh, you're the guy who takes all my parts." And I was like, "What?" And he goes, "I saw you at this audition, and this audition, and this audition, and this one, and you booked all of those." And I felt terrible that I'd apparently been in the waiting room with someone who, at least that many times, and I didn't recognize him. Oh, no. And I was like, "Yeah, I did book all those roles. Wow. Okay, that's crazy." So I guess what goes around comes around. So whatever someone is to me, I am to someone else, and I'm sure he is to someone else. And that's how it is.
We can't be sure about that.
Fair enough. Let's get him on the... Come on in.
Alexa,
Phil?
call Phil. Find all the Phils that are 5'5" and call them.
Yep.
Finding the one Phil that's 5'5" in Hollywood.
It's been a minute, but Shia LaBeouf and Simon Helberg.
LaBoufy.
Yeah.
You know his name means Shia the Beef.
I do. You know, he was on Freaks and Geeks.
I do. He was a geek, I believe.
He was in one episode. And I don't
The
wanna
one
say
with the
geek,
head.
but yeah, the one with the head.
When you just got married, we're going to tell your second death story. But when you got married on your wedding night, did you drop your silken robe, look at your bride, and say, "It's time for this geek to get freaky"?
Were you in the room? You were, weren't you? Oh, wow. Couldn't get further away from you. I will tell you straight up, that was one of the longest, most full days of our lives.
Getting married?
And we knew
Just
ahead
happened
of time.
this month.
At the end of last month. End of
Okay,
April.
Wikipedia said May.
Well, Wikipedia's wrong. It was April
Well,
29th.
citation needed. And here it is.
There you go. That's citation. We knew ahead of time. We were like, I'm laying the odds that we get freaky on the night of the wedding.
For sexual.
For sec. I'm laying the odds at like
I've had
200 to
two
1.
weddings because I'm divorced. Both times, and Val knows this, sex after your wedding, get the fuck out of here.
I've just the energy.
Yes. Dancing, eating. It's a schmooze fest.
And your body hurts.
Yes.
I was in pain. No, there was not a chance.
And we got back to the hotel and there was roses on the bed. The hotel did it. And we were just like, that's marriage. And when people say that, they usually mean it in a bad way. Fuck you. Dating is when you're like, we did have sex, but it was real sort of like, just kind of like two jellyfish kind of. And then there's you drowning.
At least I got to see the jellyfish.
Yeah, and here comes Weaver. He doesn't help you. And then Shia LaBeouf is over here booking it. He does drown. Mm-hmm. And everyone's like, gives an applause and he comes back.
Oh.
It was performance art.
He's that kind of guy.
He's that kind of guy now.
Yeah.
Kind of brilliant, right?
Look, I've given up trying to figure out some artists and the way their brains work because it's so foreign from the way my brain works. I can't comprehend it. And I'm like, look, he's working on a different wavelength and whatever he's doing is working for him. So,
but it seemed like LaBeouf had some like negative LaBuzz and like people were kind of like, I don't know about this LaBeouf guy. And then he was like, oh yeah, I'm going to eat 75 bananas in a room while I'm crying. And then we were all like, and now LaBeouf is LaBack.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know.
I mean, I don't feel like he's gone.
I don't think he's gone. He seems active, and we'll see him in something.
He played
soon.
a Latino assassin recently.
Okay, I missed that.
I'm pretty sure he was Latino. Did you see that movie?
I did not.
He's playing like a.
Was that West Side Story 2?
Mm-hmm. West Side Story. It's a prequel called East Side Narrative.
That sounds like a ripoff.
East Side Narrative.
That sounds like the DVD version you'd see at Vaughn's when the movie's in theaters.
John's. It's at
Excuse
John's,
me, at
not
John's.
Yeah, just at John's.
When West Side Story is in theaters, you're at the checkout, and there's the VHS of East Side
and it's
Narrative.
It's wrapped in a way that you know it was returned and rewrapped. This was a return, and it's only $2.99.
Yeah.
Second death story, or no, you got married. We had jellyfish sex. You were very tired at the end of your wedding night.
It's true.
But you still managed for the geek to get freaky?
We've had sex since then. We've consummated the marriage.
Oh,
If
you
that's
didn't
what
have
you'd like
sex on
to
your
know.
wedding night?
We did not.
Can I just say, good for you?
Oh, thanks.
That's like the best sign. What I'm saying is intimacy.
Yeah.
That I've been doing this bit about it. It's like, I don't like dating.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to be on stiff dinners trying to impress somebody.
Mm-hmm.
If at the end of a 19-hour party, you're both in love enough to be like, let's sleep.
Yeah.
Boom. Welcome.
Yeah,
welcome to the party.
We knew that was
Off the
going to be
table.
the way that was going to happen
Yeah,
that
yeah,
night.
yeah.
So there was no expectation.
Great.
If anything, there was the expectation of we're going to be so tired, we will fall asleep before our heads hit the pillow.
Zero expectations.
Yeah, there you go.
Did you step on the glass?
I did not.
Ooh. Can I be your mother for a second?
Sure.
For shame.
It was a Shonda! A Shonda Rhimes! What happened at this? We thought about it. I thought about it.
No chairs?
No chairs. No horror. No chairs. That was, couldn't do it.
Why? I'm
okay.
so interested.
I'll tell you exactly why. So,
by the way,
also,
who cares? Like, I'm not asking you to defend yourself. I'm just curious. because I'm so cultureless, not really, but I'm just a little white bread.
Okay, that's fine.
When I go to a Jewish wedding and there's the chairs and there's the glass, I'm a little tradition envious.
Okay.
I felt that way about bar mitzvahs as well. I was like, I'm 13. No one gives a shit.
Oh, yeah, no, that would have
You know
killed
what I mean?
me. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, you just don't have the induction into
Sure.
some sort of belonging.
Right.
That the other faiths do it as well, but Judaism really seems to nail. So when I say why, there's no judgment. I'm interested.
And I'm happy to tell you. So while I was raised Jewish, and I was bar mitzvahed and everything, I have not been a practicing member of the Jewish faith.
Isn't that? I'm not trying to tease.
Yeah.
Isn't that par for the course?
With
I know a
most-
lot of Jewish people that are still going to do a Jewish wedding, but are like, I'm not really.
Oh,
Jewish.
maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I've certainly been to Jewish weddings, but I assume
Catholic
maybe there's
too,
some...
or a lot of every faith has
point-
the like.
So my wife is not Jewish.
Okay.
She was raised Irish Catholic, I guess.
Great.
That doesn't sound right.
Great guess. Great zero. That's not it.
We've really.
That's- I don't know
there was
anything about it.
church
That's
on
definitely not
Christmas.
it. Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah.
It's a whole. There's the communion. I don't know.
Okay.
So the point is,
Where's she from?
she's from the Boston area. She's from
Good guess.
Lowell, Massachusetts.
Good guess, Lowell. Very good guess, Irish Catholic.
Yeah.
But keep going.
I mean, that part's not a guess.
Oh,
The Lowell or the Irish Catholic. There was an Irish Catholic heritage.
she is Lowell. Okay, go ahead.
Anyway, so
Lowell.
yeah,
Haven't thought about Lowell in a while.
Dickie Eklund
Dickie Eklund?
from The Fighter.
Oh my God.
It has nice parts too.
No, I'm thinking about. I was thinking about the plight of his story.
It's sad, but it's got a happy ending.
That story brutalizes me.
Well, anyway.
Go on. The pride of Lowell.
The point is, neither of us has been particularly religious. So when we talked about the wedding early on, we were like, totally secular, right? Yes.
Yeah.
And so for me, she was more than willing to do any sort of religious stuff, and I with her. If it was important to her, we should have it.
Yeah.
But originally I thought, all right, I'll do the glass thing. And then the more I thought about it, we looked it up. And I was like, because I'm not going to do it if I don't know why I'm doing it. I'm not going to do it if, well, it's tradition. Everybody does it. But why?
Yep.
And we looked it up, and there's no single straight answer, by the way. Go ahead. I encourage you to Google.
What are some of them?
Here's the one that really stuck with me.
Fuck glass.
Jews hate glass.
I've known this.
They only want plastic that will never decay.
Yeah.
It's got to poison the earth. We're an angry people. Here's my favorite reason. Marriages fail because evil spirits invade the marriage. And they're waiting when couples get married. When they form that bond, that union, that's when they latch on to the couple, and then they sow their seeds and they wait to destroy the marriage. But if you break a glass, the noise scares the evil demons away. And then you'll have a happy marriage because they didn't attach themselves. And I was like,
That's a little call me now, right?
I was
That's
like-
a little call me now right there.
maybe.
Yeah.
And I
That's
was
very,
like, sorry,
like,
Miss
superstitious
Cleo,
sounding, yeah.
I am not going to do that.
Do not
Sounds
go in there.
Woo! So I was like, all right, if even one person who stepped on a glass did it for that reason, I'm not doing it.
Interesting.
So,
Boy, I'm surprised that it's that. I thought it was some beautiful metaphor.
there are other reasons.
Yeah.
It's like the word swag. Look up the word swag and you will find 100 different definitions
For swag.
For what it means. It's an acronym.
It is?
Yeah. So the one that I grew up with was stolen without a gun. People now, I went to a movie premiere, I got a bunch of swag. Swag, yeah, stuff we all get. There's a million reasons, a million definitions that people have assigned it over the years.
I don't like stuff we all get because
agree.
the whole point of swag is not everyone gets it. Only the people that went to the event.
The definition's been completely altered over the years.
Whenever it's an acronym, I doubt it because OK is the same. People are like, some president used to write OK, he thought it meant all complete. I'm like, nobody who became the president thought all was spelled OLL.
But the point is, much like that, if you Google why did Jews break a glass at the wedding, you're going to get 50 answers.
And one about plastic.
Obviously, because I put that on Wikipedia.
So
You think I have stuff going on? So we didn't do that, and the chairs. That was something neither of us wanted to be lifted in chairs.
There's a size joke here, but I would love to lift you in a chair.
You know when you did lift me? It was 9 years ago. I had to look it up. We did an episode of Doug Loves Movies. It was you, me, TJ, and Bert Kreischer.
That's a loud show.
Oh, boy.
That's a loud show.
And I don't remember anything that led up to it. I'm sure I could find the episode in the archives.
I picked you up?
Somebody check it out. Oh, more than pick me up. I ran and leapt into your arms.
That's different. I'm glad.
And you picked me up like a bride you were carrying across the threshold.
Yes.
You caught me and lifted me high into the air, Pete.
Wow.
And
did it feel great?
It was amazing.
I believe it.
And I found the GIF.
There's a GIF of it.
Liesel, the great Liesel photographer of who used to take pictures of all the great UCB shows. She took a video of it and turned it into a GIF. And I found it not long ago. Not only will I text it to you, when this episode posts,
we'll post it.
My first Instagram post will be, hey, I'm on.
Finally.
You made it weird.
7 years after this.
7. It's been so long. And then the next, and you'll swipe, and then it'll be that GIF.
Love Need. I wish Andre the Giant was alive just so he could pick me up. And Princess Bride too.
Do you think Andre the Giant's the only person who could pick you up?
Yes. Peter, come here. I want to pick you up like Samm Levine.
Oh.
Can I pick you up?
That's pretty good.
It's not bad. My impressions are not on point today. For some reason, one day I can do it, and then today I cannot do it.
Stop, it's starting to get bad. Stop.
No, I know, it's getting worse. Let's see where it goes. Call me now. Call Mr. Reiner. Call me now. When's my call sheet?
It was bad.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Second death story?
Sure. Skydiving.
Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, I hate
Both of
roller
yours are
coasters.
scary.
I hate roller coasters. I don't like seating control. I'm a bad passenger.
You mean you don't
want
to be locked into a chair?
I don't want to be locked into a chair.
Is that what you mean by seating control?
With my life. If I'm in a car, I prefer to be the driver.
I understand.
Yeah. So
if we're going to die, you want to be the one going.
I want to be the one who killed
die.
us all. I want to be the one who heard your Andre the Giant impression and was so unimpressed.
Sam,
I turned us into oncoming
don't turn
traffic.
into the traffic, Sam.
Too late.
I am the Dread Pirate Robert.
No.
That's very good because he kind of has like a when he yells.
Well, sure, he had a mouthful of seeds.
Chips and dip. Both chips and dip.
Yeah, so I went skydiving for John Daly, Sweet John Daly. I think he turned, God, how old was he?
It's hard to know. He's an ageless man.
So I think this might have been his 21st. I don't know. He's ageless now.
Yeah.
We went skydiving, me, him, and a handful of other people for his birthday. And I did a tandem jump, as most people do for their first skydive. And I loved it. Oh. And it was, have you ever been?
Never will.
Everyone should skydive one time.
Some people only get to skydive one time.
Very few.
Very few.
Remarkably few people skydive once and die. Remarkably few.
Yeah.
And so I loved it.
Tell me everything.
And
you were strapped to the instructor?
Yes.
Did he notice?
That I'm strapped to him?
It's a small guy
joke. Is that a fat joke?
Sammy, I don't know why I'm punchy today. I really wanted one small guy joke.
Yeah.
Is that okay?
Just one? Why limit yourself?
Well,
look at us on this couch. I look like your son.
I did. The reason I couldn't resist is because the thought of you being an instructor does a jump and didn't know it was a tandem jump.
Yeah. like a pet who sneaks into your car on your way to work. God damn it! Like that.
Yeah, he didn't know someone
he was halfway through the jump. He's like, son of a bitch!
And you were on the front, right?
Yeah.
Were your feet touching the ground? I'm sorry. You're my guest.
Oh, don't
You're
be
my
sorry.
guest.
Don't be sorry. That's what we're here for.
I know.
That's what we're here for.
All right.
So anyway, I did the jump and I loved it. And then
Okay.
I went back a month later. I did another tandem jump.
Terrified the first time?
A little scary because you don't know what to expect.
Yeah.
And then the minute you realize what it is,
What is it?
It's the greatest sensation that absolutely cannot be achieved on the ground. You are flying.
You're flying.
You're flying down, but you're flying.
Yeah.
You have your feet are not on the ground. You are horizontal, and you are moving about with your arms.
Wow.
It's quite something.
So he didn't pull it right away.
No.
Some they jump and it pulls.
That would be a very bad tandem skydive.
You want to jump and fly.
Yes.
And what are you going, oh God, or did you calm down?
You know, you don't want to open your mouth. They don't teach you this. You don't want to open your mouth when you're skydiving because A, things will fly in there, and B, you're talking about wind going approximately 130 miles an hour. Your mouth will dry out faster than you at a show
When you're bombing.
when you're bombing. No.
That's it.
All
I've
the
earned
vagi-
it.
Yeah.
I've been this ever since the small guy jokes.
Yeah.
I'm like, we got to get Petey back.
Nah, it was a
Somehow.
bad one.
Nope.
I didn't.
Nope.
It didn't get to me
No.
fast enough. No, it didn't get to me
But
fast
I'm
enough.
joining you in the initiative. We're gonna get Petey before this one's done.
Okay, that's right. I'm sure I'll have another chance.
Yeah.
But my point is, it will dry your mouth out
Of course.
instantly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like Ashton Kutcher to vaginas when he was playing.
exactly.
Am I skydiving bottomless right now? the ladies say?
Maybe. So yeah, that's the sensation that you get there.
And you
So
land
just
and
keep your
you're
mouth
euphoric for a long time.
It's wild.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. No, I was definitely euphoric for hours, and
Yeah.
and so I went and I did another tandem, and after my second tandem, I was
Same
like,
day?
No, a month later.
Month later.
And I took my dad, and then I thought, okay, I enjoyed that too much. It's kind of all I think about. I'm going to do it. I'm going to take the course. I'm going to get trained, and I'm going to jump solo.
Like you were addicted.
Yeah.
Into it.
I wanted to jump solo.
Solo.
Yeah.
I wanted to jump Chewy, so keep going.
Oh boy. I like that you went with Chewy,
Not Chewbacca.
not Chewbacca.
I went with the
You went with Chewy.
less formal.
You went.
Look at this guy. He's naked, but for a belt. Mm-hmm. I'm calling him Chewy. You put on pants, maybe I call you Chewbacca.
No pants. Do you think he never has to put on formal wear?
I mean,
How easy would that make your life?
always
Oh my
nude.
God.
Well, he's like a bear, I guess.
Yeah.
Once a bear puts on jockeys, you're like, now I'm thinking about how you're topless.
Yeah. Anyway. So I did it. I took the course, and it was many hours in the hangar with my great instructor, and we learned everything. And so I felt very confident and very ready to do my first
hate
solo
that this
jump.
is under the banner of Times You Almost Died.
Oh,
I hate that this is the banner.
So they were going up on the plane. They slapped my altimeter on me. I got my chute on. My instructor's with me. He jumps with me.
Yeah.
You know,
He's
holding
gonna be
on to
there.
me.
He's going to T-Cruise your Superman Fallout.
But then once I pull my ripcord and
just
I'm
Sammy.
under canopy, as they say, that I'm on my own.
Yeah.
And that's that. And I
With
gotta
these.
with those things, yeah, my risers, yeah.
Yeah.
And so
You're mad about yous?
my hunts,
I got my hunt and I got my riser.
my Lily Kensels.
More hunt! More hunt!
My Richard Kynes. So I jump, and it's crazy because it's a totally different sensation now because my free fall was so uncontrolled because previously I'd been strapped to the front and he was doing all the hard work, my guy on back.
Yeah.
This time it's all on me.
I have to assume I'm not trying to be like it's core strength. It's like a lot of like muscle.
It's-
Like you're probably
yeah, you gotta-
exhausted.
yeah, and I was exhausting, and
Yeah.
I did everything honestly all wrong. But like I did enough. I had to demonstrate like a turn this way, using my arms and making sure my legs are in the right formation. Very basic stuff.
While you're falling, or this is training?
While you're falling. So I've already trained to do this.
Yeah,
on the
and now
ground.
you're jumping out.
And now I'm jumping out and doing it, and it was fine. And so when you are free falling, even if you're right next to someone, I mean your faces are right next to each other.
Little kisses?
You cannot hear a single thing
Of course not.
the other person is saying. Remember, wind at 130 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Racing past your ears.
didn't
So
matter.
you communicate with your instructor via hand signals.
Yep. Like scuba.
And like scuba diving, exactly. And I don't know why he made me wear that tank. It seemed like way too much weight. So we were free falling, and we jumped from 15,000 feet, and I am supposed to pull my ripcord at 4,500 feet.
My feet are sweaty.
Which is, for the record, a really high distance above the ground.
Yeah.
The reason I'm supposed to pull to give you a frame of reference, like professional skydivers will pull 1,000 feet off the ground, 800 feet off the ground.
T-Cruise Fallout.
Sure.
We're looking at 25 feet above the ground.
25 feet above the ground.
Yeah, that's T-Cruise.
So at 4,500 feet, the
You're
idea
good.
is if you pull your ripcord and you don't have a clean opening, you've got plenty of time to fix it or cut away and go to your reserve.
Yeah.
That's the whole
You
reason.
literally
you're
have a
pulling
knife
so
to cut it?
No, it's built within the shell.
Yeah.
Which is what they call the pack that contains both your parachutes.
Yeah.
There's a thing in there that you have to physically, you pull it, and it literally comes off, and you let go, and that cuts your main chute away.
Okay.
And then your reserve is a different.
All I'm thinking is, what if it doesn't, and then you do that, and you realize you cut your backup chute away?
You cannot cut your reserve away.
I like this.
There's no mechanism for that.
Very good.
So anyway,
I'm dying. I'm freaking out.
I go and I pull.
I know you're sitting here with me, but I'm also...
I pull my ripcord,
Yeah.
and sure as shit, malfunction.
What
On
does
my
that
very
mean?
first solo jump. It means I did not have a clean opening. My chute was partially open, but not open all the way.
A semi.
A semi. It was half staff. Yeah. It had seen maybe a boob, side boob, could be a fat guy, not sure, half staff.
TWBAB.
So I'm looking up, and here's part of the training, by the way, is they put you in the rig, they put you in the harness, in this thing in here, and my instructor stands over me with these giant photographs over my head, and each photograph is a perfect photo of what a particular malfunction looks like from that angle. So he holds that over your head while you're in this harness.
Who was taking those photos? Oh, malfunction. Click.
Yep.
Save it for the gram.
Oh, we lost so many men taking those photos.
no.
So many good men and women. Anyway, so so basically the point is
Yeah.
you're meant to look up and you have to identify the malfunction and how to fix it within a split second, or they won't let you jump. Like that's part of the training.
No me
And
gusta,
so-
but yes, me
Right.
gusta.
And so I look up and I immediately identify what the malfunction is, and I'm trying to fix it. I'm doing my best. I'm doing all the things I'm supposed to do. And well, actually, I left out a giant part of the story, which was I'm free falling.
A giant?
I'm free falling next to Andre the Giant. He falls, by the way, at the same rate as I do.
Woody?
Yeah.
Wow.
Terminal
I
velocity,
don't know
man.
physics.
And
I don't know physics.
that's
I do
okay.
know physics.
32 feet per second squared until you reach terminal velocity,
And a
which is
feather and a ball at the same
in
rate?
a vacuum.
Yes.
They'll fall at the same rate.
But with air,
No, I'm kidding. I think Andre the Giant probably would have fallen faster than I would, but not by much.
Just a little bit.
Once you hit terminal velocity, it's all the same. But
It's all the same up
he would
there.
achieve it probably faster than me.
I
but that's
achieve, but then
not
we
too-
maintain at the same speed.
There you go. So I'm free falling with my instructor, and everything's fine. I'm doing my elements, everything I'm supposed to do, and I keep checking my altimeter, and I'm like, all right, 8,000 feet, we're good. All right, 7,000 feet, we're good. And then I'm like doing something, and then like I feel a hand on me, and I look over, and it's my instructor giving me the pull your ripcord. And like I feel him like grabbing at me, like he's going to pull it for me. And then I glance down at my altimeter, and I'm at 2,500 feet.
no.
Like it went from like 7,000 to 2,500 in a second.
Was there an issue with the altimeter, or you just...
Was it stuck? It held up on something, and
guy.
it just went. Bloop. So
You had one job!
one job altimeter. So I pull the ripcord, and now I'm free falling by myself. But I know I'm 2,000 feet below where I should, and now I'm dealing with a malfunction. And I'm wearing a jumpsuit. They make all the students
And now
wear
it's a
jumpsuits.
poop suit.
And within the jumpsuit, I am actually wearing a walkie-talkie on a string around my neck, tucked in. I mean, it's pressed up against me. And that's there so that a second instructor on the ground, after I open my canopy, can, if I need, he can walk me through, okay, a little more right, all right, a little more left to help me with my landing.
Okay.
But the problem was, when I pulled, I didn't have a clean opening, and I'm still falling pretty fast, and the wind is rustling, and all I hear is because of my flappy, not fully open
Yep.
main chute. Now, this is going to sound really shitty, but it's a giant pain in the ass when any skydiver cuts away and goes to their reserve, because then that shell and that chute can't be used again. Like, reserves have to be inspected and certified when they get packed, but a regular chute can be inspected and packed by someone who works at the drop zone. The reserves have to be inspected by someone who works for, like, the United States Parachute Association or whatever. And so they really want you to learn how to fix your malfunction and not panic and cut away.
Yep.
And so I remember that, and I'm trying.
But on one hand, you have Sammy the Machine Levine, and on the other hand, you have a slight inconvenience on the safe ground.
Well, so I'm trying really hard to fix it, and at this point, I no longer trust my altimeter, and it's my first solo jump. I've do tandems, and so I've got a fair idea at that point about, like, just looking at the horizon and trying to guess how far above the ground you are. But I said to myself, like, I hadn't really panicked. I panicked a little, but I only started to panic when I realized my altimeter isn't working. This isn't working. I know they don't want me to cut away, but God damn it. All right, I'm going to try one last time to fix this malfunction.
Yes.
And if I don't, I'm cutting away. Because when you cut away, you go back into free fall until you open your reserve.
As if things
and
couldn't
at that
get
point,
worse.
I'm like, if I cut away and I go back into free fall, I might be 100 feet off the ground before I get my reserve open.
Yeah.
So that is also in my brain. And so I try one last time. I give it absolutely everything I have.
What is the technique to fix it?
I have full flare as hard as I can. Pull both my risers.
Full, like a full Guy Fieri?
Full Guy Fieri. Full Flavor Town. And so I did it.
You did
I did it. I gave it everything I had. Like I was swimming for my life in the Pacific Ocean off Mexico. I gave everything I have. And then it goes, whoop, and now I've got it. Now I'm fully under canopy, fully engorged canopy. And I immediately start falling a lot slower. And I look at my altimeter, which again, I don't trust. And now I am, 800 feet off the ground, which is pretty low. It sounds high, but if you've never been under canopy before,
Sammy, I'm hoping for above 4,000.
There you go.
That's what I want.
So only then am I now able to hear the guy on the walkie. And all right, mate. He's Australian. All right, mate. We're pulling anything. And then he guides me, and I land on this nice sand thing. And then they're running over. When you land, you have to give the thumbs up that you didn't break your leg or anything on your landing. And I give the thumbs up, and I'm like out of breath because I've been fighting my parachute the whole way down. And they're running over, and the Australian guy, this is what he says to me. Mate, couldn't you hear me on the walkie? I was like, what? He's like, you were at 1,500 feet. You had no air in your rear risers. I was telling you to cut away.
Oh, no. They wanted you to ditch it.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
And I was like, oh, so I just cheated death. High fives all around. Let's do it.
So they did, not making it about me at all. One time I scuba dove, ran out of air, and the instructor, when we got to shore, acted like nothing had happened. She was sort of embarrassed. Yep. Did they sort of go like, oh, we had a dilly of a pickle today, mate?
No, he was upset with me.
Yeah.
Because he was like, because I think, frankly, if I died,
Splatty the Machine Levine,
he would have been in some trouble.
I'm in trouble now. And I don't just mean repacking this at the plant.
Oh, they're going to send me back to the colony.
I got to get
put all
this
the criminals.
guy.
Wait, that's where I'm from. Australia. That's how it started.
Pick this guy up with a laser disc. He's as flat as a pizza. That's a 90-minute callback right there.
Oh, it was good. It was a good one.
Sammy.
Yep.
Did you do it again after that?
I did.
You are a freaky bitch.
I jumped 11 more times after that.
11.
I got halfway decent at being a solo skydiver. I was very confident, and I felt like I could handle just about any malfunction that was thrown at me, save for like bag lock, which is when nothing works, and you're like, well, gonna die. But that's
bag lock.
Wildly rare.
I'm going to say it for the people skydiving.
Sure.
Papa.
Bag lock? Bag lock, yeah. Anyway.
If you do have bag lock, can you go ahead and grab your instructor?
Mate, you had bag lock! I was saying a Hail Mary for you!
Oh, no.
But you're not Catholic!
And he lit a candle and stepped on a glass.
Yeah. So the reason I stopped after my 11th solo jump was I had a really rough landing, and I had already I don't have great knees, and I hurt my knees so bad it didn't break. I didn't tear anything, but after this rough landing, I was limping around for a month, letting it heal. And I had this thought where I was like, how do I explain to my agent, oh, I would love to take that role, that amazing once-in-a-lifetime role that was just offered to me, but I can't because I can't walk right now because of a skydiving accident.
Yeah.
Like I work in an office. And I can do that. And if I had a broken leg, it's fine. It's an inconvenience, but it's fine.
Right. But
so I was like, also, and I've almost died once. So if I do it from here on out, I'll just do tandems.
I'm either impressed or terrified that you kept doing it. Did you, after the bad one, did you take a break? Or did
No, I came back like 3 weeks later.
3 weeks later.
Well, I mean, it was a near-death experience, but it didn't feel like I was about to die, like the ocean thing. I thought I was going to die. In the ocean.
Yeah.
When this happened, I was a little panicky, but honestly, like, I had just taken the course. Yeah. The info had never been fresher in my brain, and I had the overconfidence of someone's like, nope, they showed me what to do. I know what this malfunction is.
Yeah.
And it was just a matter of, okay, one more time, then I cut away, and it is what it is. Yeah.
I love that the cutaway, they're like, don't lose your deposit, mate. That's $75.
We got to get, Jennifer from the parachute organization. She's got to come out here. You don't want to trouble Jennifer.
Don't trouble Jennifer. It's a Sunday, mate.
Come on.
I saw Reese Darby last night, and I just immediately went up to him, and I was like, hey, mate, what's going on? And I was like, Pete, the boat has drifted too far from the shore. It's become that.
Yeah, he's so talented. I love him.
I don't care for him.
Great.
Just kidding, Reese. You're great. I said, congrats on the show. And he went, yeah, it's just great to be back in the game again. And I thought that was the funniest way to respond to congrats on the show. Yep. It's great to be back in the game again. It's like, I love that response. Yeah. And he is hilarious. I was JK.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're at the end, and you had a secular wedding, and we know that you're non-relig. Zero religion.
Yep.
What do you, any framework for the phenomenon of existence?
We are not having children.
Say what?
You heard me.
No, I know. But how is that? I said any framework for the phenomenon of existence, like a belief structure, and you said we're not having children.
Oh, I thought you meant the phenomenon of existence, like bringing a new life into the world.
No. But I'm interested. No kids?
No kids.
Done.
Done.
There's a lot of reasons not to have kids. One, world is so sad or whatever, yes. Or is it more like we want to eat nachos?
We want to eat nachos in the sad world by ourselves. It's everything. It's so many different things.
Yeah, I hear you.
And we are selfish people who would rather spend the money on ourselves and enjoy our 40s and 50s and 60s and
70s.
Probably not for me.
Heart problems?
No, I'm going to skydive again in my late 60s, and it'll be so complicated.
Just when you land, it sounds like someone's opening a bag of Sun Chips. You know how loud those bags are.
Do you remember the Sun Chip bags that were biodegradable?
That's the one I mean.
That's the one you're talking about. The ones they discontinued because they were
it
too
was
noisy.
Loud. It was the loudest bag in the world. That's you when you land in your 60s.
But that's consumerism.
Huh?
That's consumerism. Hey, this bag is great. It gives back to Mother Earth. It makes noise.
Yeah.
All right, kill the program.
Buddy, I think about that all the time.
Yep.
Don't forget.
Yep.
Would cut a lot of corners if it means making... I don't mean we. I mean all corporations would cut a lot of corners and keep looking for the scientific lab that will say that the McRib sauce is healthy if it means making $30 more annually.
Framework for existence... we're all here for a good time, not a long time. I don't know. That's the first time I've ever said that.
No, it's the first time you've ever said it, but it's the second time you made us feel like a Dos Equis commercial. You're a man of leisure, and we're not here for a long time. We're here for a good time.
There you go. Here's how I feel about it. I've read. I was fascinated by theology when I was a teenager, and I read quite a bit about it and all the bases of the major religions.
You're becoming me.
Yep.
The religion.
I'm trying to.
I love it.
I'm Broadway.
Just
Danny
do this
Rose,
voice too many times.
Zelig. So it's all fascinating, and here's the bottom line. Much in the same way that no one can prove there is 100% of God. I know there's 100% of God. There's a whole plan. There's a whole thing on that end. And then on the other end, it is foolish for a non-believer, an atheist, if you will. I am 100%. There is nothing. Nope. Either one of those polars, you can be 99.9.
Yeah.
You can't be 100. You can feel like it's 100, but realistically, that can only be 999. That's where I am with my end, with the non. But in that point one, I'm fine with everything else. Anyone can believe, do whatever they want. I could be wrong. We could all be wrong. So God bless whatever makes you happy.
God bless.
Excuse me, fake God bless.
Gosh bless.
Gosh bless. Oh, damn it. Jesus
Darn
bless. Jonah, the whale? Nope.
Christ said
Steve Jobs
sign
bless.
of the whale.
So my point is, I don't know. But where I'm comfortable is that end.
And tandem skydiving.
No,
I hear you. Well, that's what you probably, because you listen to the show, you probably heard me say this a million times. It's weird to have a favorite atheist, but I am very similar to Ben Gillette, and his whole thing is we don't know.
Yep.
And he really taught me, because not a lot, but some atheists are the 100% no way.
Sure.
And he's like, look, I could be wrong. I believe in infinite potential, infinite possibilities. I'm just saying the evidence suggests that there isn't one. Right. And I really appreciate that, and that's what I'm hearing here. So if you'd like me to compliment your worldview, here I am.
Thank you. I was not fishing.
No, I didn't think you were fishing,
whales.
but I didn't want you to think that sometimes by validating someone's beliefs, it can be condescending. I didn't mean it that way.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As long as you weren't taking it that way.
I did.
Okay.
I'm leaving.
So dead over.
Dead over, yeah.
Yeah.
No, you go back to the earth, which in and of itself, I think is pretty impressive.
The recycling of it all?
Yeah.
Of the matter?
That one day, every cell that it makes me up right now will be part of the earth again and contributing to new life.
And also every atom and cell, every cell that you are is reborn every 7 years and all this stuff. Sure. I love that. I'm sure you've heard that image, the boat. You inherit your father's boat, and then you replace the hull and you replace the floors. And after 10 years, you've replaced everything, but you still call it your father's boat.
Yep.
That's us.
There you go.
It's insane.
Yeah.
It's just really the difference between spirituality and materialism, which is what I hear you completely understand, is like which came first. Spirituality says consciousness manifested matter, and the material says matter developed consciousness to preserve itself. Just to join you in the delicious soup you're serving,
Please,
buddy, we are two bonobos.
We're
We're jumping out of planes.
Shirts.
What's that?
They make halfway decent shirts. Bonobos.
Is that a company?
It's a shirt company. I own a couple. Yeah.
You own a couple.
Yeah.
Bonobos.com/Sammy the Machine Levine.
If you go and if they're like, hey, if there's a thing where it's like any comments when you place your order, just let them know I sent you.
Sammy sent me.
I have nothing set up with those people.
When you write your name Sammy, 3 M's?
I don't ever write Sammy. Dangling participle.
What is it?
We left one.
Hit it.
Number
you are
two,
a podcaster.
I was a sick kid, and I spent a lot of time in the hospital and at home, and that's where I started watching movies like it was my life's work.
Like Fred Rogers.
There you go. Third, once I knew what I wanted to do with my life.
I can't believe you remembered.
Of course. Once
You should come every episode.
Once I knew what I wanted to do with my life, which was be in acting and whatever and make movies and shows and all that, then I was like, well, this is what I want to do. I owe it to myself. If I wanted to be a pharmacist, it's my job to know all about every drug. So I started soaking
That's
in movies.
why I take them.
There you go. I started soaking in every movie. Movies I was like, you don't care. Well, I have to watch it anyway.
Oh, wow.
And so I would. I watched so many movies, and my love for cinema knows no end. So that's the quick wrap up of that.
What's a movie that no one else likes that you love?
Free Jack?
Free Jack.
Sure. It's not a good movie.
What is
but
it?
It's Emilio Estevez movie from the 90s. Emilio Estevez, Rene Russo, Anthony Hopkins, Mick Jagger. Faison Love. It's ridiculous. It's a fucking ridiculous
Do
movie.
the
Pete.
preview for it. I'm not saying you have to
Okay.
do it
No,
perfectly,
right.
but do the preview for New Jack for those of us who don't know anything about it.
Alex Furlong was a race driver. No!
He's doing it!
Headed for the biggest race of his career until no, he died. Or did he? He's awake, and it's 18 years later.
So many movies in the 90s.
And not only does he have a new chance at life, he's also got a run for his own. It's Free Jack. That's
That
a
was
very bad.
No,
that's a very bad.
No, your chute opened fully. We were under a full canopy on that riff. That was beautiful.
Thanks, man.
But he dies in what?
So he dies in an auto racing accident.
Yeah.
But so that's 1991 in that scene, and in the future, 2009, the future.
Yeah, I
Pete,
hear you. Yeah, you mean
They
11
have technology.
Wait, no, that's 13 years ago.
They have technology where they can snatch you out of your time zone, your timeline,
yeah.
at any point they want. And so in that future, the world, the pollution is terrible, and so there's no healthy people. So when rich people are going to die, they can't just grab some body from that time to put their consciousness into to keep
go into
living
the
forever.
past.
They snatch a healthy body from the past.
So it's not just one crazy conceit that you can transplant your consciousness. It's two. I can transplant it, but only someone from the past.
There's a couple of big ones, yeah. It's based on a book called Immortality, Inc.
And it's also written by a narrator in Newspeak.
I think Robert Sheckley wrote the novel, and I think Dan Gilroy adapted the screenplay.
Edit that out. Only because... Actually, we're doing okay for time. Tell me
Sometimes you go 2-3 hours, and look, I'm not some giant megastar,
Sammy the Machine.
but if we're having funsies and you don't have anywhere else to be, I cleared my whole day for this.
Oh my Jesus.
Once we're not rolling anymore, by the way, I'm not leaving. You, me, Val, Katie, if she wants to hang around, we're
Brody, Leela.
Yep.
Everybody.
I don't want to forget anyone in this.
Yeah.
In this house.
And there's a weird gnome man that lives in the floorboards.
I live in the floorboards?
Nah, very nice. Thank you for making me feel better. I did have a baby carrier joke, but we don't need it.
No.
Okay, listen.
Yeah.
Tell me a Tarantino.
Oh, I got a couple goodies.
I love him. Did you hear him go, because we love making movies?
Of course I heard him do it. I heard him do it 1,000 times on our set. So the reason that comes up is you're doing a take. Let's say we're shooting a takes of a scene, and it's hard. Whatever you're shooting is really hard. It's complicated. There's a lot of dialogue. Maybe someone has to do a stunt in it or whatever, and you do it, and he sometimes will do a lot of takes. And so you're on take 14, and you know you've got it. And you do a take, and he says, cut, that was brilliant. That was it. That was the take. But we're going to do it one more time. And why? And then everyone on set in unison says, because we love making movies.
And it's to see, that to me is when you sit down to write something great,
Yeah.
you have a better chance of writing something great. When you remind yourself that you love something, you have a better chance of enjoying the experience, being in the moment, staying with it. Do you think that's what it is?
It's a lot of that.
Yeah.
But I think he has never allowed himself to forget his childlike exuberance of his love of cinema, and that he gets to do at the highest level.
Yeah.
He gets to do the thing that makes him happiest in life.
He gets the golden ticket.
And he doesn't want to ever make it feel like a job or an obligation.
Yeah.
Like, I get to
He's in
write
the woods with an
whatever's
8mm.
in my head
Yep.
on a piece of paper,
Yep.
and then I get a blank fucking check to make whatever version of it I see fit. I'm happy as a child in a candy store every day I'm on set.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he
But
wants
then
to make
why
everyone
say
feel
you
that.
only want to make 10 movies?
Because in his opinion, and I learned of this, his intent to stop making after 10 movies. I was having dinner with him and BJ Novak. It's just the three of us. It was a lovely evening. And somehow that came up, and he's like, no, I'm going to turn 60, and I'm going to make my 10th movie, and I'm done. We were like, whoa, that is really? And we were both, come on. No, I'm telling you, this, that, the other. And here's what he did say. And he sort of said this in the years since, but I've never heard him really say it. But I know he said it to us. He said, after that, I will become a man of letters. And I was like, I didn't go to college. What does that mean? And he was like,
He's just going to write letters?
I'm going to write a C and then an X.
You're going to become the count?
Maybe some stuff with an umlaut.
Bernie
I don't
Mac
know.
comes in.
Doesn't have to be
You're
English
become
letters.
the count.
And so
That's a very
he's
man of
gonna
letters.
focus on writing more than directing.
Writing movies.
Writing books.
Books.
He's did the novelization of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I don't know if you read that.
He wrote it already?
Oh, years ago. It's terrific. It's the story you know, but there's so much more because it's a book.
He wrote it.
Of course he wrote it.
Me no know this.
Oh, Petey,
Wow.
you got to read it.
This
Did
is
you
like
like the
deleted
movie?
scenes? It's the only movie I have on my phone.
Then
because I can always watch it.
Read the book.
I will.
It's very good. So he's going to write more books. I think he's going to write some plays. He may write like a mini series that maybe he'll produce. But at this point, I'm now believing him that he's got one more movie in him, and his timeline's close. I think he's around 60. But yeah, I think we got one more left, and that's how he wants to do it. And look, he's been
This
doing.
is like we're full circle. This is the retirement thing.
Yeah, he's been doing the thing that he wants to do for so many years of his life now. He's, it's troubling because he'll say things like when he finishes a movie, like, oh, when I want to do the Vega Brothers. Oh, when I want to do Kill Bill Volume 3. And oh, I want to do the prequel to Inglorious Basterds. And none of these things ever happen, at least not as films. So it is my belief that after he stops making films, he will write the book versions of these things. He will publish the Vega Brothers. He will publish Kill Bill Volume 3. Unless that turns out to be his 10th film.
And then everyone will read it and be like, should be a pretty good movie.
Pretty good movie, wouldn't
Be a
it?
pretty good movie.
Well, maybe he'll put stuff in there where he's like, these can be adapted into movies after I'm dead. That wouldn't strike me as something that he would shy away from.
So tell me another.
Okay, here's people often ask me, what is he like as a director? And here is the best example of that I can give. And apologies to other people who've heard me talk about this on other podcasts, but it's too good a story. And if you've heard it, get ready to hear it again. So in the film, one of the first times we really see the Bastards in action is when Donnie Donowitz comes out with the bat.
Yeah.
And,
Fenway fucking Pack.
Teddy fucking ball game.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
And Brad Pitt loves this. Yeah. My buddy, he loves this.
Yeah.
He does this in a lot of movies.
Yeah.
The thumb over the shoulder.
Over the shoulder. Yeah.
And a lot of. He wants to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I always thought he was doing like a Brando thing with Aldo Rain.
Oh.
I never asked him about it specifically.
Yeah.
The only thing we ever talked about in terms of performance, we talked about accents.
Huh?
Because he was doing a little twang.
He did in another movie too.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do this, Quentin.
Yeah.
This is the voice I'm gonna do.
A little bit.
Who cut my throat?
Yeah.
It's never established.
Do you want to know the answer? It wasn't cut. The backstory for the scar.
Oh, it was a hang.
It was a hanging. He said, I'm a mountain man, right from Jim Bridger. So he's from Appalachia, Mississippi, somewhere in
I'm
there.
from Appalachia.
And the backstory there is some years earlier in his younger life, he saw a couple of black men being mistreated. Basically, they were going to try to get lynched by some, racists in the area, and he stepped in
Oh, and they
saved
tried to
their
hang him.
lives. And in the process, they hung him, not enough to kill him, just enough to teach him a lesson.
Oh wow.
And that's how he got the scar on his neck.
Oh, wow.
There you go. Breaking news.
That would be in the book.
Probably. So, anyways, it's us in that ditch where, we've got the Nazi prisoners and we're trying to get information out of them. And so that was the first thing we really shot, like the first big thing we shot. And so it's day one of that. We were there for, I think, 6 or 7 days. It's a big scene. There's a lot to shoot, a lot to cover.
Yeah.
He takes his time because he can. So we're there, and I don't know if you remember my portion of that scene is, yes, I'm laughing.
Yep.
And, that's when he says, all right, what's my character's name? Hirschberg. Send over that sergeant, that Kraut sergeant. And, that means you. And so he goes over and then he gets, beaten to death. You know that portion of the scene. As it happens, this scene was a bit larger than that initially. I had quite a bit of back and forth.
You got
with
Steve Jobs.
I got Steve Jobs. Like I said, it's happened to me plenty.
Yeah.
So it's part of the job.
Yeah.
I don't take it personally.
Part of the job.
It's part of the job. So we had a little bit of back and forth there. So he says, Hirschberg, send over that Kraut sergeant. And so as scripted and as shot, I'm holding my rifle. The guy's on his knees. Wonderful actor. Richard Sammel is the actor's name, who played Sergeant, oh no. It's too early for me. It's Sergeant Ratchman. So, he's
I do want to point out we started at 10 a.m.
I don't know what time it is.
and Sam is 40 years old and keeps complaining. Katie and I had a good laugh about how you were like 10 a.m.
10 a.m. I got 3 hours sleep last night. It's true.
What?
I have to come back to the bastard story. I got
You
3
will.
hours sleep last night. Ask me, why do you only get 3 hours
Why
sleep?
do you only
You're
get-
not going to believe the answer to
Why?
this question.
Why?
Because my wife and I were binging Downton Abbey.
Wow.
And we were like 2 episodes away from finishing the 6th season. And it was like 2 a.m. I was like, God damn it. Fine, let's finish it. I'm not going to bed. I'll be thinking about it all night. Let's do it.
Wow.
And the last one is like 2 hours long. And we did it. We stayed up and it was like fucking 4:45.
This is why you were drinking a Red Bull when you came to
I
the
gotta
door.
get up and do Pete Holmes, and he's gonna. But
You could have pushed an
I
hour.
matched your energy.
You sure did.
You brought the good energy, and I took
mirrored
it from you, and you gave
mirrored
it to me.
And you declined the free Magic Mind beverage.
Oh no, I'm gonna use that in the car.
There you
I'm
go.
gonna freebase
It'll
that.
get you
It's gonna be
free
great.
base.
So anyway, back to Bastards.
The great guy playing the sergeant.
Sergeant Ratchman, Richard Sammel. So he says, Al Lorraine says, Hirschberg, send that Kraut sergeant over. And so here's, as scripted, I say, that means you, Cupcake. And he does not respond. And then I am supposed to bang him in the back with the butt of my rifle. And then I say, when the lieutenant says move, you move. And he still doesn't react to that. And then I am to grab him by his hair, yank him up to his feet. And he turns around at me and looks at me, and we have a little bit of a stare down. And then I say, what? And when the lieutenant's talking to you, get over there. And then he, turns around and he walks over. And then, the rest of the scene, he sits down, he has the talk with Aldo. Donowitz comes out, beats him to death.
Interesting. I wonder if it was another moment, because all the hate that we have, or the desire to watch this guy get hit with a baseball bat, which is a lot.
Yeah.
I'll admit that when I was watching that scene, it was difficult. I know he's a Nazi.
Yeah.
In a movie, still, I'm kind of like seeing somebody bound and killed.
Yeah.
Is never fun.
No.
I always get nervous when I talk this way. I'm just saying, as a moviegoer, and also Nazi, yes, I get it.
Yeah.
I wonder if your part was to help us remember this guy's a fucking piece of shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And the look he's going to give you is like disgust, and he's an asshole, and he fucking all that.
Yeah,
to
the
help
first
us.
cut of the movie was like 5 hours.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
he shoots everything.
Yeah.
And then figures it out in the edit.
Yeah.
So we go to do that portion of the scene for the first time, and he's got the camera up at the top looking down. It's kind of a medium wide, and he's all the way up there with the camera. He doesn't have a video village. He always stands by the camera and either watches in a little viewfinder on the side of the camera, or he watches the actors because he trusts Bob Richardson, his DP, to get the shot right. So we do the first take of that. And he's cut. And because he's all the way up there, it takes him like 2 minutes to run over where the ladder is, climb all the way down there, come over to talk to his actors.
And Brad Pitt's next to you going like, look at this dumb motherfucker.
Brad Pitt's like, I think Moneyball will be my next movie.
Was it?
Yeah, it sure was. At least the next movie he shot.
He takes out the book.
Michael Lewis, you've done it again. So
You got a lot of names.
He runs down and he comes over to me and he pulls me away from all the other actors. He goes, here's the thing. Okay, you're some fucking American Jewish kid. This guy is a fucking sergeant in the Nazi army, okay? He would kill you with his bare fucking hands if he could. And the only thing stopping him from doing that is the fact that you're holding the rifle, he's not, and there are 12 other rifles around him. He knows one wrong move and he's going to get blasted to hell. That's the only thing stopping him from fucking killing you. And you know that. You want him to make a move. You want an excuse to tell your fucking lieutenant, what could I do, Lieutenant? He was he came at me. I put a hole through his chest. You're looking for the excuse, man. I need to feel the fire. I need to feel the want from you. That you want this guy to make a move so you can put a hole in his neck. And I was like, done. And then he goes over to Richard and pulls him aside. And I do not know what they're saying. And then the last thing he says right before he goes back is he goes, okay, nobody talk to each other. Stay in the moment. And then he runs back up to the stair, runs up to the thing. Okay, and action! And we go to do the scene a second time. And now, Hirschberg, send that crowd sergeant over. And that means you, Cupcake. And now I'm fucking in it. Now it's fire. And I bang him so hard, I know I kind of hurt him when I bang him with the butt of the rifle. Sergeant says, lights in and says, you move. And I yank him up to his feet. And he turns around, he's staring at me. And I got my rifle. And it's a moment, and it's going on way longer than it did last time. And I'm looking at him, and he's looking at me. I go, what? And I start poking him in the chest with the butt, or with the front of the rifle. And he's looking at me, and it's a moment, and it goes on so long. And finally stops, fixes his jacket, turns and walks away. And then they get another little piece, and then the scene ends. Ah, God! Brilliant! Do that again! We're going to go again! And then he comes over, and I say, Richard, what did he tell you? And he said, he told me that when I turn around and you point the gun at me, that if I didn't believe that you'd really shoot me, that I should try to grab the gun away from you. And then that would be the new scene, and he'd rewrite it.
And then that would be the new scene, and I'd rewrite it. In the woods.
In the woods, in the middle of nowhere in Germany.
We need 10 minutes.
Yep. Because he needed something authentic.
Wow.
And if we couldn't get to the authentic thing he wanted,
he'd
find the authentic thing we could do, and he'd make that the scene.
And what he wanted. Well, we'll edit that story out.
I think you should.
I didn't like it.
I think you should edit that.
I don't like you.
Oh, well. The feeling is mutual. You're too tall. When I listen to your podcast, and I listen to it all the time, like I've said, for many, many, many years. Big fan, most of the time. When you laugh, it is so Dudley Moore Arthur-esque.
Dudley Moore Arthur.
Yeah,
Arthur.
Yeah. Yeah. Because you haven't really done it much today, but as recent as...
I would have liked to.
That's on me. That's on me. As recent as Chris Parnell, you do the... You do that. And I'm so bummed you didn't do it today. I was ready to call you out.
I know.
You do that.
Arthur is one of the movies I watched as a youngin'. And I think it was one of the first times I saw my dad's cognitive dissonance. Ooh. Meaning the movie was making him laugh. Mm-hmm. And then he felt the need to be my father and be like, it's sad when somebody drinks like that. I'm like...
Did he say that with
a drink?
Hand?
You know, it's really quite sad.
No. I've never done my dad with like a cartoony drunk slur.
Yeah, let me tell you something.
Is your dad Andre the Giant?
Pilar, very similar voice. Arthur is a very sad man.
I prefer the remake. I'm just kidding. It felt mean. I didn't mean it to be mean, but nobody prefers
the sequel.
The sequel. There we go. There's lots of ways that
Arthur on the Rocks. That's
Arthur on the Rocks.
That's the sequel.
Well, Sammy the Machine, I do have somewhere to be, unfortunately. Look, Parnell went too. You've gone too.
I kid.
Plus, you have a nap to take. You have a nap.
Now I'm going to push through.
You are?
Yeah.
That's the way to do it.
Yeah.
It's always better.
Caffeinate. Oh, fuck, I said it in front of you.
What?
I caffeinate. You're going to... All right.
Give it a shake.
But it says take alongside your morning caffeine.
Well, because it has adaptogens that ease the
It also
caffeine.
says best served chilled, and it's been sitting here.
Well, that's not my fault. What do you want me to
Have a
record the
fridge in
podcast in a fridge?
Yeah. Yeah, I
On
do.
the off chance the guest doesn't drink the Magic Mind that I tossed him?
Yeah.
Okay, look. This is great. You know the question's coming.
Yep.
Can you tell me the hardest time, which is not the correct way to say it, the hardest time
Hardest time.
you've laughed? That's how we ask it.
I know. And I have laughed very hard many, many times in my life. But the one time I remember laughing to tears, there's a small story, and then I'll explain the rest of it. So we didn't cover any of this, and seriously, I mean this from the bottom of my heart. Thank you for not making me go over my life story again. I've done it on so many
We didn't
podcasts.
do it. I didn't ask you one freaky
geeky
There was
question.
zero freaky
Zero.
geeky.
If you want to hear that,
Go to any other podcast. You want to hear us talk about red balloons, marshmallows? Come here.
So, I was a stand-up comedian when I was a
Bar
teenager.
mitzvahs.
Yes, bar mitzvahs.
And some bat mitzvahs.
And some benai mitzvahs is the plural.
Benai?
Benai.
Benai mitzvahs.
There you go.
I had a tumor. It was a benai
Ooh.
mitzvah.
And then they asked the tumor, are you
Papa.
Jewish?
And it was that holiday.
Because it was that holiday. So I started going to the Friars Club, the New York Friars Club, when I was 16 years old. My comedy, stand-up comedy godfathers, Elon Gold and Jeffrey Ross, were instrumental in me getting stage time, developing an act, and all that. And then they brought me into the Friars Club. And there are no teenagers hanging out in the Friars Club for good reason. This is the mid-'90s, and I'm in there, and, it's Dick Capri, Freddie Roman, Alan King. They're holding court there every day. And I get in there, and I'm blown away. Like, these are old Borscht Belt comics, and they're just hanging out, having a drink, telling stories. I love comedy. I love jokes. And the part of the story that bums me out is I can't remember which of these Altacockers told the joke.
Altacockers.
That's a great word. You should have it. It's a Yiddishy old man.
Altacocker.
Yeah. Very old. So I don't remember which of them told the joke, but I remember the joke. And they told the joke, and I laughed so hard, I'm crying at the table. And then all the other... these old comics are at the table. Geez, saying you think you never heard a joke before. I couldn't get it together. I'm laughing so hard.
You're in the water at Club Dread, basically.
Yes.
But it's laughter
But
instead
it's
of waves.
laughter, and I can't breathe because I'm laughing so hard. It was just something about
it a
this joke.
sex
It's a
joke?
street joke.
Street joke.
It's a street joke.
He just told a street joke.
One of the comics told a street joke, and it made me laugh so hard. And when I'm in a bad mood, when things are not going my way, I will tell this joke out loud to myself.
Well, you know the joke.
Oh, of course I know the joke.
Oh, I thought this whole time you didn't know
No,
the joke.
I will tell the joke to no one, to myself in the car, and it automatically puts me in a better
Will
mood.
you tell me the joke?
Of course I will tell you the joke. Now, before I do, my dear friend Kevin Pollak, he tells this joke, and I love that he tells this joke. He doesn't tell quite the same version that I know, but I didn't want him to hear me on this podcast and be like, he's stealing my joke. I love the joke. I love the way Kevin tells it. This is the way I heard it. This is the way I tell it to myself. And here is the joke. It is a little, mean, but so be it. So, guy's at a bar, and it's getting late, and he needs to get laid. And it's closing time. He's looking around. All the good options are there, and the only lady he gets any interest from is old, kind of heavy. And he thinks, well, something's better than nothing. All right, so he takes her, and he go back to his place takes her home. She's happy to go with him, and
Sure.
and so he's trying to get her warmed up. So he starts going down on her, and she's older and heavier, and, he's going to town really trying to get her warmed up, and he falls in. And, and he's in there. And he's, kind of panicky, and he's feeling around, and he's trying to find his way out, and all of a sudden he feels another arm. And oh my God, there's another guy in here. He says, this is crazy. I don't know what happened. I was going down and I fell in. How long have you been here? The guy said, I've been here a while. He says, son of a bitch, well, let's work together. Let's try to find our way out. The guy says, to hell with that. Help me find my car keys. We'll drive out.
Oh my God. So many things are going through my mind. One of them is how that joke was told in the 90s. Like, you know what I mean? You told the 2022, it's amazing that you were even able to tell the joke. But the way that joke was told in the 90s was probably a disaster.
I'm sure it was.
A modern day disaster.
It was an aristocrat.
It was an aristocrat.
Yeah, I'm
You're
almost
being very
certainly
polite.
giving the clean...
Yeah, the queef? I heard it. I'm giving the queef for the clean version.
Clean queef.
Help me find my car keys. We'll drive out.
Yeah.
Is very funny.
It's fucking... Sometimes I just have to say the punchline.
Help me find my car keys.
The hell with that. Help me find my car keys. We'll
I
drive out.
hope we're in a dire situation one day. Like Club Dread, what is this, a fat joke? And we're hiding in a closet. Mm-hmm. And I'm just like, help me find my car keys. We'll drive out. And you laugh.
You can
that's a hilarious, inappropriate time to make a joke. In a movie like Club Dread.
That's sort of the problem is I almost don't tell my friends that because if someone
It'll always make you laugh.
If someone says that
your wedding.
punchline.
If we're at the altar, glassless, I go,
Yeah.
help me find my car keys. We'll drive out.
That will get me.
And your wife is coming up, and you just laugh in her face.
I start laughing. I have to excuse myself, leave the room. I come back, tears streaming down my face.
Love it.
Yep.
Need it.
There you go.
Sorry I didn't laugh like Arthur.
That's okay.
What a great answer. I thought that whole time, by the way, you didn't know the joke, because as a fan of the show, you'll know oftentimes people are like, I don't remember what it was,
Right.
which is fine.
Yeah.
And they don't have to, but you knew what it was. Help me find my car keys.
The problem is, since the very first time I heard you ask a guest that question,
Of course.
I remember thinking, I wonder if I could tell that story.
Yeah.
If that is an offensive joke or not.
No, I think it worked.
I think it worked.
Of course it worked.
Yeah.
It was wonderful. And I'm glad you did it. And I'm glad you listened to the show. And would you say it? That felt rushed. Sam.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Would you say?
You know I'll say it.
Keep it.
You don't have to.
Okay, would you say the Pete Holmes show?
I missed the Pete Holmes show.
Oh man, it
we
was
didn't
so
even talk
fun.
about it. It was really fun.
Oh, thanks,
It was
man.
super fun. And
This is the backdrop.
hey, I'm taking it home.
Yeah, I
Okay.
mean, you. No, I'm gonna keep it.
That's what you think.
It lights up.
Hey, Pete.
Yeah.
Keep it crispy.
Cut. Perfect. Let's do it again. Remember, you're a little Jewish nothing.
From
From
Were we not
nowhere.
rolling on that at all? Do we have to do it all over again?
Because we love making podcasts.
You made it weird. You made it weird. You made it weird. Oh.